Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Bibs Corner podcast. This is just a quick insert to add a little bit more to kind of prepare you for what you're about to listen to. This episode was recorded very differently than any other episode. It's the first time I've actually been in the same room with the person I'm recording with. And in this case, two people, my friends Josh and Larhonda. They are married, they have infant daughters, so we were recording this at night when the children were asleep and kind of hoping that they wouldn't wake up. They do wake up at one point in the podcast. I didn't actually hear them when I listened back through the podcast. I didn't actually hear them, but there is a point in time where Larhonda had to step away to attend to one of the babies that woke up. But just fun little things like that. As far as the audio, because we were all on one mic in one room and we were actually in a pretty spacious area, you might be able to hear a little bit more airiness than usual, but the quality's still there. You can still hear everything we're saying. There's nothing weird going on there. But overall, this was a fun experience. I hope to be able to do more things like this in the future. And of course, I want to get as many voices on the podcast as possible. So if you have a show, have a movie that you're interested in talking about, I'm looking to record at least once a week. So hit me up. You never know. I can usually make it happen if you can make it happen. So with no further ado, I'll let you go ahead and enjoy the review. Bars. Welcome back yet again to another edition of the Bibs Corner podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Bibbins. And today we're here to talk about Severance. This is, I believe, the first full season review for a television show in one podcast. And I'm joined today by two special guests. You might have heard him actually on this podcast before, Josh Sparrow. They believe you came on for was it an NBA preview? Did we do a whole season preview?
We did.
We did a whole season preview. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think that was...
It wasn't last season.
It was 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did the 2020 season preview, so it's been a while since we've had Josh on. And we're also joined by Josh's wife, Larhonda.
Hi, everybody.
For her first podcast experience. This is not just Larhonda's first podcast experience. This is the first time I've had the pleasure of doing a live podcast with the guests like in front of me and not on a screen. So this should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So excited to be with you and also to talk about the show.
Yeah, very exciting. We have two sleeping 1-year-olds upstairs, so that's weird.
If we're whispering, there's a reason.
As we mentioned prior to recording, they may pop in. They decide to wake up, but
They will be screaming, so headphone listeners, sorry in advance.
Yeah, I think that'll just add more flavor and texture to the conversation.
Yeah.
I also think the leaning in and whispering that may occur may also add some level of flavor and
have
texture.
a little ASMR.
Yeah,
Little
it's quite
ASMR.
sultry for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but the show is not sultry. The show is, I don't know, how would you describe the show in a word?
Ooh, good question. Definitely sci-fi, drama, comedy. Like it's such a good, like, the thing I really liked about the show is that it hits a lot of different areas of like what people like to consume on TV. And that's why I think it just will appeal to a wide variety of audiences. Like if you don't really like love drama, I think it would suck you in because of like the comedic aspects or like the sci-fi aspects. What do you think?
Yeah, that wasn't one word, but yeah, I think mysterious would be if I had to pick one word. It was just like the whole time you're watching it, you're very aware that you don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that drives you. And to Larhonda's point, yeah, they're different. They're Adam Scott, like obviously like known for a lot of his comedic roles, like pretty humorous. There's other characters who are really, really funny. There's like cute little like love story within it. There's just like there's lots of different elements of it. But
yeah, I think mystery was probably the first thing that come to my mind as well, because that's what draws me in. To your point, that even if you're not into all of the different elements, there's an element for you, and if you can only hold on to that element, then you can make it through. So again, the mystery is what does it for me. I typically stay away from most sci-fi, but this one, again, I'm so curious as to what's going on and like where this is going that I stayed in it personally.
Yeah, and then to your point, like you stay away from sci-fi. So I typically will like I like sci-fi, but more in like the fantasy, like magic, superheroes, like space, like those are sorts of the things that I typically go for. Like this, if I was just reading maybe like the Wikipedia summary, I don't know that I would necessarily like be drawn to it.
Okay.
It was recommended to me, and obviously the great reviews online, it kind of got me in. But I will say from episode 1, like there was something about it that hooked me, even without that really like fun fantastical element, like monsters or aliens, but there was something about it that was like pretty gripping.
Okay, let's start here. How did you watch all episodes together? Like, was it a
we did. Every night post putting the girls to bed and post dinner, we would look at the TV just saying Severance, let's go, for nights in a row, and that really never happens.
Yeah. Oh wow. I would say maybe the biggest compliment we can give it is that as parents with twin 1-year-olds, we were staying up late to watch the extra episode each night. Like there was like, it was already, we'd finish one and it would be past our usual bedtime, and we would opt to watch a second, like another episode. Like it just we always want to know like that next answer was going to be.
Right.
Awesome. How did y'all like decide to watch the show? Y'all knew you mentioned recommendations, but like what was the first time you heard, hey, this is a show you should be watching?
Yeah, I think it was me. I think it was a lady I work with who was just like, on like a team call, was like, has anyone watched this? And no one had. And she brought it up again later, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to like, let me look into this. I saw the review. I mean, maybe it was Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb was just like really, really high. So this does, like, I would say the style of the show is something Larhonda would probably be more into. So I was like, okay, this could be a show we can watch together. Right. So I would say I was maybe more hesitant to watch it, even though I recommended it, just because it's not maybe my typical kind of TV show.
Right. And I guess I was like a little hesitant in a different way because I hadn't heard anything. And so I had no expectation, like no will to watch it, because I was like, I don't know what this show is going to be about. And even though I really like Adam Scott, I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really care until we were like off the heels of watching Candy, that's on Hulu with Jessica Biel. And sorry if anybody else like really loved Candy, we didn't super love it. So I was like, I don't know if I have it in me to like start another series.
Shows in a row.
Right. But I'm glad we did. And we just kind of gave it a shot. We didn't have anything else queued up, so we just put it on.
And Josh, you said you got sucked in by episode 1. Episode 1 sucked you in as well, or did it take a little longer?
Yeah, so Severance is very much in my wheelhouse of shows that I really like to watch. Very much like one of my favorite shows of the year, I would say, along with like Under the Banner of Heaven and like Yellow Jacket and Scenes from Marriage. So I just really love like very dramatic shows. And like that's kind of where I was like thinking that this was going to. So from scene 1, I was like, what's going on? What's going on? I need to understand why this moment is happening. And didn't disappoint. It took me in a different direction into like what was going on in scene 1. But
okay, I think so. I do want to set the proper expectations. If you're thinking, should I watch this? I'll say for me personally, at least 2/3 of the way through the first episode, I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't really like what's going on so far. Like I'm not drawn into this yet. Like the design and all that was not drawing me in. It looked like they were doing too much, if you will, for me. Like they were trying too hard to be different.
Yeah.
But then by the very end of the episode, at least, when you start to get a little bit more context for what's going on in the world and like how, like why the things that you saw early on in the episode were happening. It's like, oh, okay, now I want to see more. So, and I think it does a good job. I would say almost the end of every episode gives you a little bit more to kind of draw you in and make you want to come back for that next episode.
Yeah, it definitely gets its hooks into you deeper and deeper and deeper at the end of each episode.
Yeah, I think in today where people recommend shows to each other so frequently, you often hear things like, you just have to make it through the first first half of the season. Get through season 2 and it gets good. Like, I do think give this one like don't expect answers right away. Don't expect to know what's going on the first 20 minutes, but like just kind of like be along for the ride a little bit.
Okay.
And then I think you get I think every episode gives you a nice payoff or just enough of like an answer, or sort of like a new question you didn't know you had. And that sort of like hooks you into the next one.
Okay. Right. Because like, who likes watching shows where you just like get compounded with the question after question after question without any sort of payoff? And this show definitely gives you that payoff while also like giving you a couple different questions.
Right.
That leads you into the next episode. It's so nice to like have those like crumbs that you want to like get more and more and more of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think some shows go too deep into the mystery where it just becomes more and more mysterious as you go. But like you said, this one answers a question and then asks 2 more, and that's what I think keeps you going.
Right. In fact, I would say like the question you have episode 1 or 2, like that sort of version of the mystery is not what you're as curious about by the end. You're curious about something totally different, and I don't even know that original answer or that original question is even answered. There's just so many other things that open up. You're like, okay, this is more of an intriguing mystery here. That there's just so much to it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when we like sat down to talk about doing this podcast and we were making notes, like I was just kind of making like, all right, these are the things I want to definitely talk about. And the list just kept getting longer and longer. And I was like, we really have a lot of things that we don't know about.
They backed in a lot to whatever, 10 episodes, 9 episodes.
9 episodes,
yeah.
Yeah, so it is 9 episodes. And before we continue or transition, I'll say that my rule for shows like this is usually 3 episodes before you judge it and say whether or not you're gonna like it. I don't even remember where episode 3 ends, because again, after the end of the first episode, I just wanted to continue to watch it and figure out what was going on, and it just kept building on itself. But my rule is 3 for like a 40-minute show and 5 for like a 30-minute show. So get that out there. Now's the tricky part. I want to get a synopsis out there. Like, what is the show about? Like, how do you sell it to somebody, but without spoiling it? I don't know if I can do that off the dome. Can either one of you pull a synopsis out of your cheeks?
What do you think?
I think I could try.
Okay.
And then if you want to improve it, you're more than welcome.
I got a very simple one I can throw out, but
so I think quick synopsis would be that Mark, who's the main character, and his coworkers work at this company where they undergo a procedure called Severance, which means that when they enter the building and they take their elevator down to their office, the part of their brain sort of severs any knowledge they have of the outside world. Conversely, when they leave, their brain severs any part of the knowledge they have of their time at work. And so it's kind of focusing on this like almost this question or this like, I don't know what you would call it, but of like, does this sort of mean that these are 2 different people living 2 different lives, even though it's the same person? And like, and what don't they know of the other life, and how does that impact them as a singular person, even though their brains experience 2 different existences?
What too deep?
Well,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, this isn't
complicated. Okay, sorry. You're right. You said simple.
Let's get complicated.
But then I guess it kind of comes down to, what are these people experiencing at work that they don't even realize they're experiencing when they're on the outside, and them sort of trying to dive into that and understand that mystery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, did I get too like existential?
No, but I love that. Yeah. I mean, that's the question. Like, that's the conversation that the idea of the show is really getting into, you know, other than, and the other like existential conversations above that. But yeah, I think that's a really great synopsis. Before
I got too deep into it.
Bare bones. You know, there's this company that has a procedure that some of their employees undergo, where once they enter the building, it shuts off their knowledge of their lives outside the building, and their lives inside the building are separated from their lives. Like, as when they're in the building, they're a different person, like you said, almost. They only have knowledge of what's happening in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they leave, they don't remember anything that happened while they were in the building. They go back to living their old life. Like, when they get on the elevator, they go down, they come back up, and they don't remember having been down anywhere. They just pick up where they left off.
Yeah. So think about, you don't remember your mom, your spouse, where you live, what state you live in, anything. And then conversely, you don't remember your coworkers or what do you do all day.
Right.
It's kind of a crazy concept, which the show really kind of gets into.
And again, that's real surface level, but as you get into the show, it'll start to make sense. I like to try to give an example. So imagine you're at work, you stub your toe, you know, when you leave work, you're on the elevator, you got on the elevator, your toe was fine, but now your toe's hurting. And like, somebody stuck a note in your jacket to let you know, hey, you stubbed your toe at work. Like, this is what happened. This is why your toe's hurting. Like, you don't know what happened while you were down there. You just know you came up with a stubbed toe all of a sudden. And you have to accept that they've told you stubbed your toe, and not that somebody hit you with a hammer on your toe or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I think season 2 is actually called Mystery of the Stubbed Toe. I think that's how they're going to frame it, basically.
But yeah, that's like a simplistic. And so we'll get into more of the details of it. But I think the easiest thing to say is, like, when they're inside, there's like speculation about what their outside lives might be like. And stuff like that, because again, they don't know about that part of their lives.
Yeah, and there's also a sort of political element where this procedure of severance is sort of like debated by like people in the outside world. Like, is it you know, like ethical to do that? So there's that element as well.
And I think that's important. I'm glad you brought that up, because my idea when I sat down to the show was that this was normal, like everybody's doing it. Yeah. But like, they make it clear very early on that this is controversial, and like, this company is the only one
that's like doing
it right now. And then when you start, like you said, see the political elements of, like, there's a political figure who's like known for being an advocate for this thing. It adds more layers to the show.
Right.
Not sure why fireworks are happening.
Hopefully y'all can't hear this.
It's okay.
Like, it's 28th of July.
The fun, that's what I was like trying to figure out, like, what holiday is around. They must have just had some leftovers. Let's try to think, is there anything else? The last thing I wanted to get into before we actually start talking about the details, because there's a lot to chew on with the details. Is there a show that you could say that this reminds you of, or is there a type of a show you can compare it to, anything like that?
I think easiest comparison is Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But you know, Black Mirror, you're getting sort of quick hits. This is obviously 9 hours, a 9-hour long episode of Black Mirror. But if you're into that Twilight Zone, maybe like that, I think is probably the easiest comparison. Do you have like
I think that's a super perfect, like, direct analogy. And then you brought up earlier Mr. Robot, and like, in terms of like the tone and like sort of like the energy that the show gives off.
Yeah, I was gonna say the feel of the show definitely similar to Mr. Robot.
Westworld, maybe, in that, although I don't know how Westworld is received, but where the pacing feels a little slow, but there's like always those nuggets of like trying to like understand the world better. You're getting like answers slowly at a time. I don't know if that turns anyone off, then forget I said it. But
I think the best way to say it is you actually spend time in the settings. Like, you get like a day or two in an episode. Like, it's not flying through stuff.
Yeah. And I will say, like, these, you know, sometimes I think you get characters in TV shows that are very like, the pacing is so slow. Like, these characters, like, you really they feel normal. Like, it kind of feels like exactly like how
an office would,
an office
culture.
Right. Office culture. Right. They just don't, know anything. So it's slow in revealing answers, but I don't know if the show is necessarily slow. Like it's not like slow dialogue or anything like that. Like
right.
So maybe so
like it's not action packed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it is more dialogue based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
but things are happening.
And then too, the actors that they have are
great.
Top tier. Yeah. So it's like they immediately suck you in. So even if it was slower, like I would have had a hard time like turning off the TV to Patricia Arquette or John Turturro or
who we had just seen in Batman like a couple weeks
before.
Like Falcone, and so that was kind of
very different character.
Yes, quite different.
But I think the big thing, the biggest selling point for me would be like the easiest selling point would probably be the cast, honestly. Besides the mysterious elements, like the cast keeps me in it because each character is so different. Not in
totally
just the way that they perceive the idea of Severance, the way they perceive their lives inside the building, and then they're just their personalities are different. Like Zach Cherry's character is probably my personal favorite.
Stand out for sure.
He's like that guy in the office that's way too into the office culture.
Yes, very much.
Like he's into the perks. He's into like winning. Was it assessor of the quarter or something like that? Something like that. He's like, you get these awards if you do this, this, and this, and he's like, and then what's his name? John Turturro's character is like, he's really into the rules and like, that's against guidelines and don't do this like type of stuff. So I think it is a fun dynamic they have. And again, like just holding on to one element of the show, I could just hold on to the dynamic that the cast of characters has inside the building. And again, Mark, Adam Scott's character is having a completely different life outside the building that I'm not as invested in.
Really?
His personality, like him as a person. I'm invested in his story, but I don't necessarily like him.
Yeah. Okay.
But like that just goes to right. He's the same character, but there's two different versions of him, and so like, which one's the real version? Which one's the one that matters more? Like get that. So anyway, you just saying that is like because I sort of felt the same way. Like his outside version of himself is just experiencing a totally different life, so he's completely different than the inside version, who is like just a little more chipper and like
existing,
right? Sure,
yeah.
All right, so let's get into the spoilers.
Yeah, I was like, I'm ready for the spoilers.
We're getting kind of dangerous.
So this is the spoiler. Okay, so that was spoiler free.
That was non-spoiler. Yeah,
okay.
We were dancing.
We did a good job.
Yeah,
I usually have to like reel people in, so thank you for that.
I honestly didn't even realize that was a non-spoiler. I was just like,
you did good.
All right, good.
All right, so welcome back. We're in the spoiler section now. We're about to get into a lot of stuff. I can imagine things are about to get really real over here. So if you're in the spoiler section, I will hope that you have watched the show. Although I know if I had a few people come to me and say they don't care about spoilers, they're going to listen anyway. I don't recommend that because you got to experience things, in my opinion. But this is coming from a person who doesn't watch trailers, so take that with a grain or a cube of salt. First thing I'm gonna ask off the bat: expectations. Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed? Why? I'll start with you, Larhonda.
Oh, me? Okay, so background on me. So I just really like when narratives take me where they want to go. So I really didn't have very many expectations going into it. Like I don't actively try to like figure out what like a showrunner or writer is like trying to get me to. I want to experience what they had in mind when they're writing their narrative. So that said, it exceeded my non-expectations. I thought it was just so well done. Like I didn't really have any knowledge about what the show was about when we started watching it. So going into it and like knowing, like getting to know the characters, getting to know the story and all like the deep rooted issues that this narrative like just kind of uncovers, I think was just so smart and so well done.
Okay.
Yeah, same for me. Like I didn't know what to expect, but like I would say I exceeded my expectations twofold. The show itself was more enjoyable along the way, but sort of opposite of Larhonda. I don't like to just be along for the ride. I like to pick up on foreshadowing, try to I try to predict what the big reveal at the end is going to be. And I'll say this show hit me with two sort of like twists or reveals that I like had no idea were coming necessarily. I didn't pick up on. And so that even like added another level of like enjoyment for me. It was, it's the fact that I'm even sitting here like on a podcast, we talking about it when it was a show going into it that I was like, okay, let's just see if this is any good. Like, it's not my normal show, but now like I can't stop talking about it because it was just so enjoyable, I found.
Right. Okay. And kind of going off that. So when we finished watching it, we loved it so much that I was like, okay, I need to tell Mike about it. So I texted him, and like me and him don't text directly very often at all, but I was like, Mike, I volunteer to go on your podcast.
literally. And that was probably the thing that pushed me over the top because I had the show tournament on Twitter where I was like asking people like name some shows that I should watch. And I did two versions of the tournament. Each time Severance lost to the one that ended up winning the tournament, which let me know, like, and it was a close battle each time. And I was like, you know what, this show must be legit. I think the actress Liz Jenkins from Blackish that I talk to sometimes, she had recommended it. And I was like, between that recommendation, Larhonda like going out of her way to like text me and say she wants to come on the podcast to talk about it, let me just do this. So like when I went out of town, I was like, I'm just gonna start it and see what happens. And I ended up watching the whole show in the hotels and then on the plane. I think I watched 5 episodes on planes.
Well,
of the 9. So it was like I had to literally download the episodes in the airport so I could watch them on the plane. I think for me, and also the Emmy nominations had already come out.
Sure.
So 14 Emmy nominations. I was like, this show better be legit. Like it has to be legit. And so it lived up to the expectations. I had no idea what it was about going in still. So I didn't have any expectations as far as story was, but as far as quality, it met my expectations, I would say.
Cool.
And I haven't seen anybody that has said it was bad. Like I can't think of a single comment I've seen where somebody said, "No, this show is overhyped" or something like that.
Yeah, like I could see you finding it maybe boring, and then if you stopping a couple episodes in, like I could see someone having that reaction, and it's fine if that's not your type of show. But I think if you give it the time, like it'd be really hard to be let down by it. Like it.
Yeah, I mean, think about all the twists and turns that this 9 episode arc had. It was like we were saying, it's just at the end of each episode, it just compelled you to want to watch more.
Right.
Which I feel like a lot of shows like try to get there, but this one did it so effectively. Like at the end of the first episode when Miss Cobell was actually also Miss Selvig, like right next door to Mark. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And I like how they did it because early on we hear her voice when he's on the outside, like, "Oh, sorry, I put my trash cans on you." Blah. And then you go inside and you see her in the building, and she's the stern woman, and she's the boss, and she's serious. And then later in the episode, you see her again on the outside. You realize she's that clumsy oddball neighbor that you were laughing at earlier in the show, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Which like I said earlier, that's a question you have at the end of episode 1. Like, what is her deal? You don't necessarily get that answer in this season, but you have so many other questions or other things that are answered. Like it sort of becomes like just like secondary to like what you're even concerned about. It's still very important, and I still can't wait to sort of learn more about that character and like why she specifically lives next door to him or was so invested in his life.
Right.
But like I wasn't concerned about it by the end of season 1. I had so many other things to like focus on.
And like I said, like when I sat down to write notes for the show, I like had like 10 things initially, and then I end up with like 25 different things that we can potentially talk about that are out there on the show that we again haven't necessarily gotten answers on, and not because they're just like loose ends that haven't been tied up, but because there's other things happening, and you'll probably get more than one answer at once at some point on some of these things. Should we dig deeper on Cobell right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's dig deeper on Cobell. So, what was your first thought when you saw she was the neighbor?
I was shook. I really, I didn't expect it, because who would have expected that? But my first thought was exactly what Josh was saying. Was like, what is Mark to this company? Exactly. That she needs to be right next door to him. And it's like, okay, well, is she, like, obviously she's on this floor, so it's like she's severed too, and it's just like happenstance that they're right next to each other. And like, obviously, like once the show goes on, it's like, no, she's just by him for no reason, or for some reason, but we don't know what the reason is. And so like, kind of like the juxtaposition between both of her characters is so interesting to me, because like Miss Cobell, like you were saying, honey, like she's so stern and like just very bureaucratic and like very company woman, which is so interesting in itself, because like which is like, and this is kind of like a tangent that I'll eventually get back to, but she's just such an interesting character, because she's very much like the old world thinking of business culture. Like, you're going to devote your whole life to this company, and like this company owes so much to you, and like you're going to give like your heart and your soul to this company, for it to like just cast you out without a second thought, right? And then like going to Miss Felvig, like she is a bumbling character who's like really nurturing and like very much like a caretaker, and so
vulnerable at the same time.
Vulnerable,
but also manipulative, because like she knows who Mark is, so that, I mean, we're in the spoiler section, but like she's not severed. Like she knows who. She knows she is playing a character on the inside or outside. Like, so she knows who Mark is. He doesn't know her. So like, even though she seems like a different person, that is her. Unlike Mark, where it's like unintentional, hers is intentional. So there's definitely a manipulative factor, and you're kind of like wondering, what is her angle here?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And like Larhonda mentioned, like who is Mark? Because clearly there's some level, it's implied there's some level of importance that he has to the company.
Yeah.
Again, we not necessarily answered, but it's like there's clearly a reason she is so close to him in his world, and she stays there throughout the season.
Yeah.
So I think one part of it is they live in company housing, sort of,
right?
Or like the company is kind of like Amazon, where they own everything, type of thing. And so like there's like a dinner party where Mark is talking to, I believe it's the friends of his sisters.
The not dinner party.
The way he wasn't supposed, he was not excited about this setup. But like his job comes up, and like people are asking, they're like, "You live in, Lumen Housing, don't you?" And that comes up on the date, doesn't it?
So it does. I think it's both. It does.
So it does. Ended up at dinner, because someone's kind of like
they pretty much judge him for having gone through this procedure.
And honestly, like, can we just talk a little bit about the dinner party and like in a little bit, because that was wild. Like, keep going.
No, go. Okay. So so they are in these houses, and so when I first see her, my initial thought, because again we don't know, she's not severed yet. My initial thought is, and this is part of the show sucking you in, like they work together. She's his boss underground.
Yeah.
And now they're neighbors, and she's like this bumbling lady that he looks out for next door. And I was like, is there something going on with her to where her brain is different down there? She doesn't know that she's this feeble old woman on the outside because she's been given this role of power on the inside, and like she doesn't know any better type of thing. But then later when you find out she's not severed, then it becomes all right, is she being manipulative and all that good stuff?
But see, I don't know what it was, and I'm trying to remember back to the episode. I don't know if she gives a look that sort of like implies she knows. But so I remember thinking that like she knew him. Like there's something, she gives him a look.
Yeah, when he goes inside, she like stops smiling, steely eyed.
Yeah, so there was something that was like, okay, she's got more of an idea of who he is on the inside than he does. So yeah, because you're right. They don't explicitly say that she's not severed when she goes in, but there was something there that I remember.
And then this was like, is she not severed? Because that's the second question. Is like, well, is she not severed? And then like, how is she not severed? Or like, why is she not severed? So you have all these questions that you don't necessarily need answers to at that time, but it gives you things to think about.
Yeah, and at the time too, I remember like as far as we know, she's like the highest, like she's the highest up person we've like heard of or seen. So it, like in my brain, I was like, well, she wouldn't be Severance. She's like super in charge. Like we find out later, she's not. She's kind of maybe more middle manager.
Yeah, very much a middle manager.
But
very expendable apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely like it was a nice little like in episode 1 where you're like,
that's how your brain's already working on 10 different theories and thoughts.
Yes,
immediately.
And it's Patricia Arquette too, who fantastic.
Love Patricia.
So fantastic.
Love Patricia. Can we just talk
about how much we love Patricia Arquette?
Love Patricia Arquette.
We don't have
from Sixth Sense to Boyhood to Mommy Ben and Dearest adaptation on Hulu with opposite Joey King. And to Medium, how did I forget her?
How did you? How?
Oh my God. Like the range, the beauty. She looked great in the show. I loved her salt and pepper hair and like the length of her hair as well. Like I loved both her styling as like Miss Cobell and Miss Selvig.
Yeah.
Because like Miss Selvig was like one of those
so
weirdo.
Scared me at first. Like
scared
I was
you.
concerned about her on the outside. Like
in what way?
She was just too weird. Like after I realized that she was not normal, like this might be her acting, like her putting herself in this position as this bumbling lady felt dangerous to me because like I felt like she could flip a switch at any moment and nobody would be expecting it.
Yeah. And no, you can
I was gonna say of the actors, I feel like she would be the most likely to win like a solo award for her. Because of she like the playing such drastically different versions of that character, and there's like such like nuance because like everyone else is playing two different characters. She's playing one character who is being two different ways.
Yeah.
And I think you get that like shows.
Yeah.
So I would say, I don't know. I could definitely see her winning like an Emmy for.
And I think one thing that I kept thinking to myself, like when the camera, like if this was like real life and like the camera wasn't on her and we didn't have her point of view like on screen, like how would she be behind closed doors? You know, like would she be like some sort like somewhere in the middle, or would she be completely Miss Cobell or Miss Selvig? You know,
I do think we get a glimpse of that at the end of the.
We do, yeah, you're right.
When she's sort of like praying to that altar,
or when she's like at the.
When she realizes.
Oh, when she's like driving and she's trying to like sort of fix.
When she's
trying to
fix
her.
I think that's when we see who she really is.
Yeah.
I think. But because I was surprised by her actions, honestly. Because again, at that time we know she's mad at the company because they fired her. But then when she realizes that the innies are outside, she goes into fixer mode. Like she wants to stop this from occurring. She lets Milk Chick know, and she like goes to find Helly and like stop her from going on stage and ruining things. Tries to.
And she's like I said, she has that altar of like the founder.
She has the altar.
So she's definitely the first drinking Kool-Aid.
That was the first
hard for her. So and she went to that school, right? Like a Kieran based school, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. God, I don't remember that part as much, but you're right. There was like a photo of her
as like a young girl.
Okay.
The school that the founder had like. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
it's like that part's quite fuzzy.
Let's talk about Kier for a second, then.
Yeah,
I think we need to do that.
Let's do it.
So Kier is the founder of this company, Lumen, right?
So yeah.
And underground, he's kind of a god type figure. Like his quotes are biblical scripture worthy, because again, all they know is what's given to them underground when they're underground, and if all you're given is his texts, like he's going to be a godlike figure. It's scary. That part's kind of scary to me.
Very much.
But then when he's on the outside, it seems like he's like very controversial and like oddball character.
Yeah.
So like imagine like Elon Musk having people underground that worship his every word.
I mean, people above ground worship his every word, to be fair.
But like it's normal for everybody down there. Like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
All these people are Luminhead or Musk heads.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. How do y'all feel about the cure of it all?
Love that. I think it is so interesting, like that angle of it, of like how indoctrinated the innies are forced to be with like the whole Lumen culture and Kieran and everything. It's so interesting how it's like it's just indoctrination, and just like it goes back to like the agency that the indies have, because I mean, obviously, like in the show, like they're perceived to have no agency.
Right.
But yeah, I think on the outside, I'm curious, like he's seen as controversial, and we don't really get like a ton of like the general public's like sentiment of Lumen, other than like Devin's like Devin and husband's friends, and like some protesters, and then the opposite side. But like, who are the people in the middle? Like, how did they feel? Because if I were in that world, I would be like, this is crazy. Like, it is a crazy thing that this person decided that he could do this thing and he did it. And then obviously, like, if I were any, I don't know, it's like, what would you think about like this whole like biblical-esque quoting of Kieran, and then two, like the like big shrine that they go to, like of this like of like all of the Lumen like CEOs, and like the house, like so interesting,
and like this
very
is the
weird
only history you get. Like they're not teaching you world history down there, and again they would have to teach you because you're shut off from everything.
Yeah, very dark.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, it's very cultish.
Yeah,
obviously, and it's like from the outside, like it sounds idyllic, you know, this notion that you can sort of like forget about, you know, the outside world, and then forget about your work when you leave.
The house, like, idyllic to who? Because to people who
sign up for it,
want to forget.
Yeah,
you know?
but I guess, you know, like, you know, think about like when you leave for, you know, you leave work, but it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you're still thinking about work, you know, because it's like, you know, this world where it's like, oh, I can just cut my brain off. I don't have to think about it. I'm like,
ultimate work-life balance.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
And it's like, you know, the version of you who's not there never experiences work. You don't even, your day is, you hit the point in an elevator where you're going down, and then you're immediately going back up. And so you have no idea what you've gone through. Work is over for you. You basically aren't experiencing a day's worth of work. You're missing 8 hours of your day. But like, you know, there's some like,
let's talk about it.
Ideally.
Let's talk about
it.
Let's speak to that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the, I think, big questions is like, is this something that you personally would entertain for yourself? Like, I know there's a whole lot of, especially today, people struggling with work-life balance. It's working from home, work is at home. It's hard to disconnect yourself. Like you might find yourself hopping back on the computer after hours if you feel like you didn't finish something, or you know, I can say I've had to create, like I have my work stuff in one room, and I have like a media room set up for like watching shows and stuff, and I need to go to that otdon't room to disconnect from the work sometimes. So like the idea of this ultimate work-life balance where you literally don't know what you do at work when you're not at work, and when you're at work you don't think about your life, so you don't have those extra distractions. YouTube, you have infants, like I'm sure your children are on your mind while you're working often. And so when you're underground and when you're switched off, you don't know that you don't have kids necessarily out there. You're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about your family. You know, if you have drama at home, you're not thinking about the drama. Like you're not bringing any of that outside stuff with you. So is that something that, like, if it ever became real, like, could you see people signing up for that?
I mean, for sure. Because I mean, and I could see people like in all different circumstances, like wanting that work-life balance, or like wanting to forget like something traumatic that happened in their life or whatever. But personally, for me, I could never. I think like denying myself like my full life experience is just, it's wild. It's like a crazy thing for me to even like think about, like anyone doing really. But Yeah, it's like work is definitely work, but it's like my lived experience, and like having access to that lived experience makes me a holistic person. And so it's like, I don't know, like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you mentioned, like having a spouse or children. It's like they don't really take into account in the show. Like, what if there's an emergency? What if daycare calls? Like, what if you're, in theory, I don't think it's something people it's plausible.
Like, I'm sure you have like contingencies.
I was gonna say nothing that like that. I was trying to think like nothing that has come up in the show yet. Where like, do you think they would maybe pull like, hey, let's take you to the elevator, bud?
I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those things they might just sort of leave out. It's like, you can call it a plot hole maybe in the idea. Like that's my thought. Maybe they get to.
I'm trying to think.
But this new
there's something did come up that the baby, like when he comes up, like the brother's been trying to reach him or what's something.
Right. That's exactly the point.
Right.
And he did know about it. So what if it was something worse? What if it was like your child needs to go somewhere, your wife needs also this notion that like something could happen to you for 8 hours a day that you have no recollection of.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would like to give that up, that like knowledge of what is happening to me at any given time.
That trusting of people?
Absolutely not. Because I mean, even a little bit.
Because I mean, with women, like obviously you can't trust them because like some like you can be attacked and they would say like, you fell down the stairs. It's okay. Exactly. It's fine.
You were reaching behind the copier and then the copier fell on you. That's why your ribs were
Yeah, right. Not because we right. And so it's like you're giving a lot of trust to the company that you work for, where like in the example of the show, it's like you should not extend that much trust. You should not be as so vulnerable with a place that you have to be for 8 hours, and like you can't really like tell your outside persona what happened to you.
And I think a deeper part of that is addressed in the show is the idea of quitting. So when the innie is upset with how the work is going, they have to put a resignation request in, and the outie, who does not know what's going on inside, has to approve it.
Right, with no context.
With absolutely no idea what's going on, why.
Yeah.
And if they're getting paid, they're living, their life is unaffected. Like their body's coming up fine. They don't feel extra stress necessarily.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple scenes where Mark's character is going up the elevator and you can see his demeanor change.
Yeah.
Like he's depressed on the outside.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to think about work at all. He can shut it off for a certain amount of time, and his days are shorter, if you will.
Yeah.
He's depressed for less of the day. So, the idea of, like you said, the agency of the innie is I think what becomes the biggest problem in the show.
Yeah.
As far as like what needs answers. I'll ask this. This is something I always question with any show. A lot happens. A lot changes for these innies during these 9 episodes. And we're to understand that Irv has been there for 3 years. Mark's been there at least 2 years. Like, why has nothing like this ever happened before? Like, why are they all now suddenly starting to question things on the inside when that has never come up before? And is it just Helly that's causing this change?
I think it's Petey.
It's Petey?
Yeah.
Oh, the Petey situation.
She sort of starts that whole little snowball.
Yeah, because Mark is like, he was Mark's best friend in the office, and so like his sudden departure without any sort of explanation as to like if he was fired, if like he died in real life.
Exactly.
Like I think that really like
starts
like
questioning.
Yeah, starts the questioning of like it starts any line of questioning, not just like what happened to him, but like. And then when he found his photo like on the back of, or the map on the back of the photo, like I think it's just like definitely started that snowball.
Okay. I can get on board with that.
Yeah. And then that Hilly comes in, she's having trouble. That's when they go to the what's the perpetuity
Oh,
wing.
yeah, the perpetuity wing.
On their way to the perpetuity wing, I think is when they run into Bert and the
Okay.
OD.
Yeah.
I know Christopher Walken.
Yeah, wait, let's
What-
let's wait.
Oh, yeah,
I
that-
wanted to put my full attention to Christopher Walken.
love the Bert situation. So then that sort of pulls Irving into like
Mhm.
another
Yeah.
direction, which then through that is what pulls Dylan.
Mhm.
He takes something from O&D, which then causes
It's like a
Milkshake to
snowball
be.
effect.
Yeah, it all sort of
Yeah.
snowballs from this. And the question is like, if Petey hadn't sort of like had that procedure done and started this all, like would Helly have just gone to a different department? Like would she not even come there? Like would it also?
But kind of going back to the apartment, and I do want to like acknowledge, I think it was like a dual, like Petey leaving, Helly coming in, and like not like kind of going along with like their usual transition of like someone coming in and like having those like, what are we doing here? Like why is this happening? Why are we okay with this?
Why are you not questioning things?
Why are you not questioning things? This is crazy. So I think that is like the impetus of Mark's rebellion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so interesting.
You made me think about the idea. Each character has a different reason that they are questioning things. Hallie's questioning things because she's completely new.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like it. Mark's questioning things because his friend Petey's gone and he left these like clues.
Mm-hmm.
I think Irving starts questioning things once he finds Bert.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's his name? Dylan. He always seemed to be questioning things but not care.
Yeah,
at the same
right.
time. But he starts really getting invested when he has this. We can talk about this now, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
He's at home. So I forget how they did this, but it was very abrupt, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Like he just pops up in a closet.
Yes.
And Milk Chick is like in his face, like, where did you put it? Where did you put it? After he took like some weird card it looked like the diagrams when you're on a plane and it shows you like what to do to put it on your life vest. It was like one little diagram card that had like those pictures on it. And they're very adamant about not taking things out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have something written down on a note, there's a sensor that detects it and radars go off and they take it from you. So somehow he gets this card out, I guess because it doesn't have words on it. And Milkshake.
But he doesn't get it out of the building. He takes it out of the O&D.
He takes it out of the room.
Bathroom.
And they think he might have taken it out of the building.
Right.
And they're wondering, first of all, how. So it's so important for them to figure out what he did to get this out.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, I didn't take it out of the building. I left it under a toilet, blah, 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 blah. But again, his innie is now in a closet
mm-hmm.
in the real world. And during that moment, Child opens the door,
mm-hmm.
comes in. Oh, that's how it starts. It starts with us seeing this kid counting. We had no idea who this kid was.
Right.
And then the kid goes in the closet and sees Dylan, who, again, his innie has no idea he has a family or anything. Right. And the kid, does the kid yell, Daddy?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. And like kind of runs to him. And then Milkshake was like, really aggro.
Milkshake pushed the crap.
I told you to count to 1,000. Right. It's like, okay, what kid knows what like
he pushed the kid, closes the closet, gets his answers, and then like Dylan's like, wait a minute, do I have a kid? Like, is that my son? And he's like, hey, don't worry about that. I'm going
that.
And it was so interesting. I love the transition between Innie and Audi Dylan because Audi Dylan was just like, are we done here?
Yeah.
And like felt like that was completely normal.
Right.
And like that's like my thing with this show. It's like their Audis are just like, this is normal. Right. Sure, this guy is coming to my house when I'm with my family and like
putting me in a closet.
And I'm okay with it, I guess.
Right. Like I'm not questioning what's going on inside this building. But like, yeah, and the quick shift between that, like, wait a minute, is that my son? Where am I at? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then immediately like, so we're done.
Yeah.
Like after he turns the switch off.
Yeah. And like you're saying, like that was definitely like, well, Dylan's like full on like, we need to burn this place to the ground moment.
Now he's like, because initially like he's very jokey.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much, like I said, into the work culture. His character is very fun for me. Like his character is one of the main reasons I stuck around early on. Just because of how funny he is. And is his personality outside funny, or is this the personality his innies developed just because he's just going to buy into this company thing because he's supposed to?
Right.
Yeah. And I think that that's a really great question. Just like if you blow it out a little bit more, it's like the innies are the innies personalities. They're like real inherent personalities, and like the outies, like due to their like life circumstances and like all the things that they experience on the outside. Like, does that like mask what, I mean, obviously the answer is yes, but like it's so interesting, like learning and seeing Heliar, for example, like she's like very pragmatic. She's like, this is an insane thing. Like, why are we here? Like, my outside person would never do this to me. Like, she's rational. It makes sense for me to, if I just put in a request to like leave, like she's definitely going to say yes. But then like, obviously she's shook when she's like, absolutely not. Like she
sends a whole video back, right?
Yeah. She was like, I am, and like on certain terms, I am the person who owns you. You need to do what I say. I'm never going to quit this company. So you need to get with the program.
Let me ask this. The idea of freedom, because what you just said made me think something like when they're inside, they're free from the weight of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
They, like you said, they might be their true selves, personality wise, without, again, the weight of the world on their shoulders. But at the same time, that personality is confined to this building.
Yeah. And
that's where the innies start to question, again, their freedom. Like, we can't go here, we can't go there. If we do this, then we have to go to the break room, which is torture.
Yeah.
Essentially, like they have to keep reading this sentence until this. I'm not gonna try to pull that out because it's very weird.
Yeah. No, thanks.
They have to like read this script basically where they're apologizing for something that they probably don't have any actual feelings of apology for, until Milk Chick, who we need to get into, decides that he actually believes that they're being truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say Mark, when he goes in there, he comes out with bruised knuckles, does he not? At one point,
I want to say yes.
And they tell him, like, again, some excuse for how that occurred, but like he goes in and they show his hands on the table, and then when he comes out, like you see his knuckles are bruised on the outie, but he doesn't, and he's like, yeah, they told me such and such happened on the job, and it's like, well, why was he hit also?
Right.
And we need more information on this.
Right. And I think going along with like freedom and like agency, it's like these people who are people don't have any agency over their lives. Like, because it's like the idea of severance is like on a high level, it's like work-life balance. Like, you are like the you that is you on the outside, like they can live like this unencumbered life or whatever. But I think one of the main themes in the show obviously is like these are people as well,
right? And
they're stuck in this building, there's with no windows, no access to any other people, and like the people that they do encounter, they're really not supposed to, and like the company tries really hard to like persuade them to not want to interact with other people, and so it's like that is obviously no way to live. And like, of course, like with the massacre that happens, like that's a very big plot point that I'm so excited for them to discover. But then like this snowball effect of them like wanting to rebel, it's like, why wouldn't they think that this would happen? Yeah. Because eventually people who have the cognizance to be like, this is wrong, this is not what I want for my life, even though I'm here for only 8 hours. Like it just that part is really interesting to me, and really interesting to me, and I hope that they explore it more in depth.
I feel like you've been quiet, Josh.
Well, yeah, because I've been trying to think about like sort of like my thoughts on it, because it's like I guess I was trying to it's so hard to put it. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Okay. Right? Like this is like, take Adam Scott's character, right? Like you have Mark on the outside, Mark on the inside. That is, as a viewer, that is the same character, but within this world, that is for all intents and purposes two different people.
Right.
And so, or you could argue if you were pro Severance in that world, that is the same person, and Mark is completely allowed to like have this version of himself not remember these things. So it's like, I guess I was sitting here trying to sort of figure out what my thoughts on it are, and do I see that as like one person or two? But you take Helly, for example, like Helly is very much the Helly R we see in Lumen is very much like a protagonist, like someone we're rooting for. And even though we don't always get to see Helly's outie,
right.
She is, for what we know, an antagonist and someone who is basically like committing these people. Like she is causing these people to kind of go through this.
Right.
And she's very pro Severance, obviously. She's like, I guess going to inherit the company, or she's going to become CEO. So it's like, so if you look at just her as an example, that they are two different people. So it's I mean, the freedom of it is so weird, because I mean, like if you accept that they're two different people, then those people who are stuck and trapped in Lumen, they are there for the entirety of their lives.
Like I think the best way they explained it was like their lives are pretty much get on the elevator, work, or get on the elevator, get off the elevator, work, get on the elevator, get off the elevator, work. Like they don't have any downtime, any outside life. They just know that they have lives outside. They just have to accept that they are living lives.
I mean, and so they're essentially, and this will, I mean, if we get to like theories of like later, like what they are for all intents and purposes are machines. Initially, they're machines who just like work. They have very simple like tasks that they perform, but then it's like machines that start to like gain consciousness and like kind of like learn, because that's essentially what's happening. Like they're starting to like pick up like again, the PD thing starts to give Mark a little bit of a glimpse outside. Then Dylan where Milchick goes to his home, that gives him, it's all of the issues that are created for these characters are when they have some glimpse of the outside world, and they start like their view of the world starts to expand a little bit outside of those walls. So it's again, I've read some theories, have some thoughts on that, but that's kind of like, maybe that's sort of like a metaphor for kind of what's going on.
Yeah, and I think so. One thing that I really loved is like, what's Devin Simpson's name?
Rickon,
yeah. I love that, like, on the outside, Mark's like, Rickon, oh my God. But like, on the inside, like, after reading his book, it's like, you're so inspiring. Like, this book changed my
Which was like,
life.
they are kind of two. He is two different versions of Mark.
And it's funny because the book only makes its way in because, what's her name? Miss Cobell is her real name, I think.
Yeah.
Miss Cobell is watching him very intently. He sees this thing on his doorstep, takes it, brings it inside. Somehow it gets left in a public space.
Because Milchick's reading it.
Was Milchick reading it?
Yeah, and he was like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy.
Yeah, he leaves it somewhere. And then they smuggle it. Mark reads it. Dylan reads it. And they're like quoting it like this contraband, like in secret, like this is the only text besides all the Kier stuff that they've been reading.
Right.
And now, like, this is the only, like, these are the two texts you have to choose from, and they're so completely opposed to each other. And they're already beginning to question things. And, like, Rickon is talking about freedom, and you're not meant to work, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And it's like, who is this guy? He sounds very interesting to me. And like you said, when the NE comes out and he sees him, he's like, oh, my God.
You're amazing. And I think it's so interesting to like juxtapose them, like you're getting at, because like they only have two sources of truth, because like the things that they do for actual work, they just like look at numbers and then like get scared or happy at those numbers. Like they don't have any other sort of doctrines to go by. So they have this like two ends of the spectrum crazy ass rhetoric to think about.
That's a funny thought too, like, because they're both, like you said, they're on the extremes, and that's all they have to choose from, to how to act. And again, if they're questioning the Kier thing, all of a sudden this other guy comes in with a complete opposite thoughts, just like maybe this guy's onto some stuff. What was I going to say? The idea of Mark choosing to do this because he wants to be able to escape his regular life is weird because he's not actually experiencing that escape on the inside. His days are just shorter.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of look at it as maybe he thought it was a good idea because he knows he's not going to be able to focus on a regular job because of the stuff that he has in his mind or at all times, probably. So in that sense, it does make sense for him, but he starts to, I guess, would you say he's healing by the end of the season?
I would honestly say so because like, just, I don't know. It's like, I think him encountering Petey and like him having sort of like something else to focus his attention on, like,
that makes sense.
rather than his wife's tragic quote unquote death. I think that's something that like helps him heal. And then too, like, I think, him just like kind of opening himself up to like, even though the dates that he has are super disastrous with the midwives whose name I can't remember, opening himself up again and like being vulnerable to not just her but like also to Petey and like his cause. I think that's definitely something that helps him heal and helps him just like move past this tragic thing because he used to be a teacher, right, and just that
professor, actually.
Yeah, right. So like that sort of interaction, like he wanted to close himself off to a lot of interaction other than like the ones that he has with his sister and Rickon or whatever. But like at the end of this show, like you see him wanting to interact with more people and want to, I mean, not talk about his experience, obviously, but like he's not like, he doesn't have like a visceral, like no response.
Exactly. Like he did in the beginning.
Right.
Alexa is the name of the midwife
Alexa.
that the sister tries to hook him up with, and it goes weirdly.
He does have that scene where he's trying to prove that he's like moved past his wife and he tears up the photo, but like that's clearly like
a trauma response.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He can immediately like pieces it back together, which becomes its own amazing like big reveal.
The best, one of the best reveals.
Like a great moment on the show. So it's like, yeah, maybe he's healing or he's at least trying to move down that path towards like dealing with it and coping. But to say if he is or not, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm saying, like, thinking that now, I'm like, is he? Like, is he actually, like, he seems to be coming to terms a little bit more with like his life at Lumen and understanding maybe it's not as like perfect as he thought.
Yeah, right.
But I think Larhonda made a good point that the Petey thing kind of is opening his world back up, kind of like all he's really been focused on is work and just going home and existing and missing his wife. But now like this Petey angle comes to him and he's following that thread and it's kind of opening up his eyes a little bit. I think the first time he's out with Alexa, he like confronts the protesters who are against Severance and like has a little episode. But then the second date, they go to a concert, see a concert, and he's like singing anti-Lumen lyrics.
Yeah,
but like from Alexa's perspective, like why would she give him a second date? That was crazy of her.
She's clearly desperate.
It's like very lonely. It's like I guess those Minnesota girls.
It's not a lot of fish in the sea, or the sea's kind of frozen, so there's not a lot of fish.
Yeah, right.
That's. Do y'all? Okay, let's say this. Do y'all see another date for these two?
Absolutely not.
I don't want to, personally. I think we've seen enough.
Okay. If I were Alexa, giving him a second date, like letting him fuck me, and then he just like leaves in the middle of the night, comes back with this like weak ass excuse, and then he asked me to leave.
That was so cold-blooded. I was so hurt.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. She was doing the nice thing, and I can leave if you like. And he was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like, what? She gotta to snip that, unless she is around him for some reason.
I'm conspiracy, Josh.
I'm just saying.
Do you think that?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I know.
She seemed authentic, like she's like genuine, like
I think so.
But to Lana's point, she did put up with a weird amount.
She did.
Yeah.
a straight
Again,
a weird amount of weirdness.
She could be very low.
Because for that first date was
cringe.
Honestly, like beyond cringe. It was like bleak. It was so upsetting for him to like go confront those people who were very obviously like children and also in the right. And him being like, I need whiskey immediately. Give me a second one, actually, on the double. Yeah, wild. But can we just talk about Milkshake?
Let's get to Milkshake because I feel like I thought I wanted to talk about him early and we have not gotten that early. Let's talk about Milkshake. So I'll make this a broader conversation as well. Because of the situation with these innies only knowing the job, I feel like you would need to go above and beyond to make sure that they're comfortable and happy and not questioning things. Milkshake kind of is trying sometimes to make things like he tries to have fun. He tries to infuse the fun and keep a smile on his face and be inviting, but he's also very menacing at times as well. Yes. Do we think Milkshake is doing the job properly?
I honestly think so because I feel like he has to like toe that line of being like the approachable person that's like not the scary security guy, but also not Miss Cabell, that they can go to with like any sort of issues, but like to like he needs to be the person that's like you need to stick to regulations or it's going to be an issue. So like I think he has a really complicated job description, which honestly,
what is his job?
Honestly,
what is
and like think about the job interview. It's like, okay, Mr. Milkshake, are you okay with like light torture? What are your thoughts?
Well, that's the thing too. We don't know Milkshake on the outside. Well, I guess we do.
Like he's also unsevered.
That's a good point. But okay, here's within Lumen though. Like this is obviously like thematic of the whole show. Like he has multiple faces. He has stern, like reprimanding.
Right. Like I don't know why you did that. Now we have to discipline you.
But then he has over the top, happy. I'm trying to make this like fun for you, Milkshake. So it's like he's another one that just has two different versions.
Yeah.
And obviously we learn at the end too the reason he's so invested in MDR, at least for the period we're getting to watch him, is because Helly's in there and he's basically, trying to photograph and document her time there. So it's hard to say if he's always like that, even that's before we got to see him.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that ever mentioned? Like
he's there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, they mentioned like parties and like he brings like what fruit or something.
Sure.
He brings them the fruit the first time.
Yeah.
the melon.
Like
which is like honestly, like you should know, like as an any, it's like this is. Well, then again, do they know what melon is?
I mean, they've been told what melon is.
Sure. Yeah, it's like the best fruit in the world.
Because yikes! What other fruits do they know? They have, like, raisins in the vending machine.
Yeah.
But then the dance party. That is the most chaotic scene but like, is that like from Milkshak's point of view, like why is he so exuberant and aggressively into the dancing? Is that him just like letting loose, like getting to be like a little bit like not having to be his like one of two versions of himself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is there like some truth to like that's who he is?
Yeah. Or I mean, I'm thinking he sees the writing on the wall in MDR and he's like, I need to do something like wild to get everyone like kind of like hype now.
It's so over, like that was his version of getting them like
they didn't react weird to it though. Like so this has to be something he's done before.
Sure.
To some degree, maybe not this particular day. And keep in mind, I'm just gonna say this now. This was the first scene I saw, like as far as like clips of the show that were out there. That was the only clip I saw, and I was like, "This show looks goofy as shit."
Yeah, that's a weird. That would be a weird one to see.
I didn't see the whole scene. It was just like the part where he's like behind the dude, like bobbing behind him, and like his face is straight, and I was like, "What is happening?"
If you're picking a single scene in the show that does not relate to any of the rest of the show. Like that's the one.
And I was like, what is this advertising? Like, because it was like an ad or something.
Right.
Like, why would you put this as the one thing that you show? Because I'm personally put off by this.
Yeah.
It's so off-putting. Like, and I'm glad that the ad like showed how off-putting it was, because it's like, it is like, there's no other way to like spin it. Because it's like, when I was watching that, I was like so physically uncomfortable, because I mean, that was the point of it. But like with what was it called? Something jazz.
Defiant jazz.
Defiant
what does that
jazz.
even mean? Is that a real genre of music?
I don't know.
It's like where scat lives. So like with the Defiant Jazz, and like everyone else just like with their plates of melon. Dylan like sitting down, like very obviously like angry, not like just not wanting to be in that situation.
Right.
But
right after he's seen the son situation,
yeah,
he's like questioning, because again, he even mentioned like he doesn't know if he has a family or anything like that, and now he knows I have a son at a bare minimum.
Yeah, right.
And he has questions.
Yeah, and
Milk Chick's dancing in his face.
Right.
Like, no, son, it's not.
And like that's why I'm thinking like, A, he either cannot read the room, or B, he's like, okay, I need to like lighten the mood a little bit, like get them back into our corner.
That's what I saw.
And this is like the only way I can really do that? Question mark.
I just see it as him being like very desensitized
to
everything, like that he can be that over the top, knowing the situation with Dylan, knowing that like just everything that like MDR was like kind of like going through, like PD, and then like I don't remember if
Helly had already attempted to.
I think she had
for sure.
And Irving
he knows about Bert.
Bert retired at that point?
I think
so, because wasn't he like because wasn't that when he like closes the melon in the book?
Right.
Doesn't he like he puts it in the like the key like, Bible and like smushes it in there? Like, I think they are all like very much.
It is. I think it is. Is it before? Because I feel like after that, when he gets the waffle party, I think the waffle party is the egg is what he puts in the book, because that's when they hit their number. So this was before that.
Also, like these parties, melon, eggs,
waffle.
The eggs, which apparently Helly said the eggs was good.
They were fire.
Sure.
The waffle looked good too.
The waffle was also its own little thing, though. The waffle party was its own. That was weird.
Yeah, I really love Milchick's character because of like how he had to play dual characters, but he's just like neither of them could really like see the humanity of the innies or the outies.
I feel like so what I got from his character is I think he does kind of get it, but his job is to keep them on an innie mindset.
Sure. Okay.
So I think like you said, the dancing is him trying to don't think about that stuff outside, like focus on what we're doing in here. Like this is why we're going to give you these parties, is to try to keep you focused on what's going on in here. But at the same time, and like even when Dylan attacks him and like bites him later, when they have the egg party or whatever, he makes the joke like your brain is as sharp as your incisors, because he like drew blood when he bit him. So like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, so he's capable of tying these things together. He's capable of making jokes, but at the end of the day, he has to be that company man, and he has to live within those rules that have been laid out for him.
I'm thinking this now. It's almost like a daycare teacher. Like they're like children to him. So a teacher would be very goofy and like I'm all over the place to get the kids to laugh.
Yeah.
And then he gets bit like is that how he sees them? Act like it's normal. He sees them as just like children. So he's just like, I'm gonna be goofy and silly, because like they are like their knowledge of the world is so limited. They know. I guess if you think of it, they can only know what they're presented with. They only know melon exists because they're brought melon. They only know eggs exist because they're brought eggs. Like they have like a very limited knowledge.
Yeah.
So like his view of them, maybe it's this sort of like, I don't know if that speaks to any more of like the show. And I'm trying to think if there's other examples in the show where like that's how where it's this sort of like they're seen as like children that like they're just like looking after. Because like you said, like his job is to keep them wrangled in and just
he literally has to wrangle them in. Like they put a door on the room. They're wandering about. Like,
so they don't get like and he tricks and he pulls tricks on like with Irving. He like what is it called like Order 266? Well, that's like Star Wars. What is it?
So we're not killing younglings out here, like
206 or something.
Yeah, it's like something. But
somewhere in the 200s.
Basically, he prints like a fake photo of like a Lumen massacre for Irving to find at the printer, and then he tells Irving, "Oh, that was a joke, ha ha ha." But it's essentially playing like mind games to try to like scare them into acting in line, like very similar to what telling your kids like Santa Claus won't come or something. They're very. I don't. I want to like ponder on that more because I wonder if there's like more to that.
I think that there's two parts of it. So you mentioned the massacre thing. So like they wander the halls, they run into the people from another department, and you could tell for both of them this is like a jarring experience to see people from other departments. And then, like you said, they print off these photos of the people from that department killing the people from their department.
Yeah.
But then they go to his department and they pull out the photo and it's
the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. And it's like scaring them into staying away from each other, attempting to. Because if once you start bumping into more and more people, your world gets larger. You can answer more questions because though your experiences are limited, theirs are going to be limited in a different way, and maybe y'all can like put some stuff together, and they don't want that.
Right, and it brings up two questions. It's like which version of events is correct, and then two, like, did this massacre even happen?
I think a massacre happened, honestly.
Okay.
You think a massacre happened?
Did something happen?
How long have they been doing this? Is another question.
Did like all of the employees come together and sort of revolt?
That could also be it.
Like that's what. And also, we did come across a third department.
Oh,
the goats.
The goats.
The goats.
Was the guy like feeding goats?
He was like baby goats.
And what did he say? Like they're not ready or something?
They're not ready. Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean they're not ready? For what? Why are there goats?
That gave me a very sorry to bother you vibe in that moment.
Never saw Sorry to Bother You.
So Sorry to Bother You. Have you seen it?
Coachella is like telemarketing.
It becomes deeper than that. Okay. So Sorry to Bother You, the company he's working for is kind of like Amazon of this world.
Yeah.
That's gotten too big. And it's like literally sell your soul to this company. Not literally sell your soul, but give your entire life to this company. It's like, we'll put you in we'll call it, I forget what the name of the company was, but we'll put you in an Amazon house so you can go straight to your Amazon job and get your Amazon bucks to spend at our Amazon like stores type scenarios.
Yeah.
But they get it to a point where like once you're like tapped in, they give you this injection that turns you into a horse person.
Horse person?
Like BoJack Horseman on steroids.
What? Really?
Yes, like at the very end, like he stumbles upon some stuff and it's like, dude, don't let him get you. It's like a big horse, like a dude whose like head is like become a horse. It's like, dude, don't let him get you. You got to get out now.
Whoa,
wow.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, like that's when it like almost lost me at that point. Like he took it to the extreme. Are you dude on the okay?
I might be.
There's a very graphic piece of that as well with the horse anatomy, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Oh my!
I was like, yeah, it was definitely some gigantic horse ears.
Yeah,
and it's like very, it throws you off completely.
For sure.
So that's what the goat scene kind of reminded me of. Like, are they turning these people into goats? Are they turning the goats into people? Like, what is that?
Yeah, okay, because I was gonna ask you what your theories. So, my theory, to be fair, I did read this online, but it tracks like. Do we want to talk about like
we can get into it? I have my notes say theories.
We have a lot else to talk about, so we can
like what do we not hit?
Anything about Irving, a lot about
we haven't talked about the two reveals.
Let me talk about.
I guess we talked about Hilliard. We have not talked about Miss Casey.
Milk Chick is played by Tremel Tillman, by the way, and I personally am disappointed that he was not nominated for Emmy because I think he's killing it.
He's one of many actors in this show that absolutely like crushed it and was like very. Like when he was on screen, you were absolutely like interested.
Mm-hmm.
You're riveted by what he's doing on screen,
and he was funny, but in a creepy way.
So handsome.
I mean, he's killing these
Sure.
fits. Like, he's making me feel like I need to start lifting or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Great mustache. Just had everything you'd want in a potential Emmy-nominated actor. Just
but like honestly,
didn't get the nod.
Going to other men that had standout performances.
Okay.
John Turturro, Irving.
We really have not talked about Irving very much.
And like Burr, like that love story, Major Hard Eyes, like so good. And I really love both Irving's Innie and Audi.
Okay.
Like both of them are so deeply intriguing to me because like inside it's like Irving is very much like a rule follower, like you were saying earlier, and like company man, like has to live by regulations. And I'm like, okay, so on the outside he was in the military, right. So like is it super ingrained in him, or does he really just like drink the Kool-Aid? Does he really believe
he comes from a military family, so that
right,
can, like you said, be ingrained in him,
right? And so it's like, is that just going to show that like the inherent traits that you have on the outside bleed into your innie? But then too, it's like his little like romance with Bert, everything to me.
It was
very cute.
It was a very cute, like, yeah, just seeing those two actors too, like the very like prominent actors, but then like their characters were very like, because I think they're both known maybe for playing some like tougher guy roles. Yeah, but like, yeah, it was very sweet, really rooting for them. Irving's character actually, I think, did something really interesting, or his character kind of proved something really interesting in the world. So when he is in Lumen, his innie falls asleep a couple of times and he dreams of this like black liquid. We don't really know what it is at the time.
It's like a gooey thing.
His Audi, when you get to see him, when he goes into his apartment, has tons and tons of paintings, black paint, right? Of
same
this
texture.
Like same texture, of the same picture. It's a dark hallway. That dark hallway, we see Miss Casey going down in Lumen at one point. So we have Irving's innie dreaming about black paint, which he's using on the outside, and then his Audi drawing paintings of something that we know at least one character has experienced on the inside.
Right.
So it goes like, it sort of implies like when these people dream, are their consciousness like
kind of converging?
Is it converging? Is there an element of them that sort of is able to see
like one world bleeding into the other?
And
I will say I did pick up on that with his napping on the interior. Like it became clear to me that when he's napping on the interior, and again, Milkchick and them, they're not initially, that he's against the napping, and then you would assume that just not supposed to be sleeping at work.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But is there a deeper, like, do they know that if you fall asleep, your consciousness can kind of shift into the other side of your brain, if you will?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the idea of the Audi seeing the inside during a similar scenario. So
I mean, that like, think about your
but how does he know that corridor exists?
And that's the thing too, because he's not the one who's in that corridor. We see Miss Casey going down that sort of after she gets fired.
Was she being let into that corridor by Milkchick?
I think she was almost being guided to that specific corridor.
Because my question would be, like, that you just made me think of this, was he maybe the first Milkchick, like before Milkchick?
Maybe. That's a good theory to explore later.
So that's actually a great theory, because
again, we know he's been there the longest too.
Right. He's such a company man. My theory was sort of the opposite, that he was the original Miss Casey. So going back to the goats, it's where I think the idea of like cloning maybe comes, and they're trying to create this perfect version. Yes, right. Like cloning goats, trying to create this perfect version of like an employee. So like a perfect Amazon employee that doesn't need breaks, doesn't need an outside life. Like, and then there's one of the babies. And so like, so what was Irving? Is Irving sort of a clone? Like he's gone down that hallway and a new version of him has come out, like one who has a different experience. You know what I mean? Like kind of starting over. I kind of like your theory though, that he was the original
Milkchick and then like reprogramming him.
Because now I'm gonna think back. Did Milkchick have anything specific against Irving? Like, did he have some grudge towards Irving maybe they didn't have towards anyone else. Like I wouldn't even picked up on that, but now if I went back, like, is there something where he's kind of like different towards Irving than anyone else? But
Yeah.
you're right.
I don't know. Like, I feel like my theory is a little like, what if the massacre did happen? He was one of the participants. He got reprogrammed, which I think Miss Casey was going down that corridor to be like reprogrammed or something. He got reprogrammed somehow, like throughout that experience. He remembered that corridor and like he like
it wasn't 100% effective.
Right. It wasn't 100% effective. And so like on the outside, like I guess, and like one thing that they didn't really explore, it's like, okay, so on the inside, their subconscious like merges with their like conscious. And like that's a bad thing. But like on the outside, like how can they mitigate them not dreaming of their work life?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, because that part never comes up.
Like, I don't know. Do they know?
Then maybe they would know. And maybe that's why she's staying next door to Mark to keep an eye on that type of thing.
But why Mark? I mean, other than the fact that he lives in that neighborhood, but why?
Well,
Mark?
This brings us to our next point.
Yeah.
Of the Miss Casey of it all.
The Miss Casey of it all.
Miss Casey, we were introduced to her, and I think in episode 2. Is it Mark that goes to the wellness room?
Irving goes to the
wellness room because he's been napping.
Yes, exactly.
And they have this session where she like reads him. She's got a very soothing voice. She's very like, it's a very relaxing environment. I think they have rainforest sounds or something going on in the background. And she's like reading him things about his Audi.
That she also reads the exact same list of Mark.
Exactly.
So it's not even real things about him. It's like idea like.
Right. I don't know if I even realized that.
I want to think
the exact
thing the same.
Okay.
Like your Audi loves to dance. Your Audi
is kind.
It's kind, makes people feel blah blah blah. Like I think it's just
it's just a script.
Okay.
So like they're going through these things, but like that kind of again sucked me into the story a bit more because it's like, why is this?
Yeah.
What is this? Who is she?
Right.
Because she's not acting like a normal person.
Right. Yeah.
And
she's
so
very robotic.
And so then later, when Mark does go to the wellness room, I want to say the second time we see Miss Cobell watching and like leaned in like she's watching a television show. And my initial thought is, she's looking for him to slip up and say something so that she can shut it down. But then it kind of looks like she wants them to recognize each other.
I don't even think we've mentioned this yet.
Because we hadn't talked about Miss Casey yet.
Yeah, but Miss Casey, we find out, I think the episode before that, she was Mark's wife.
Exactly.
Which is a crazy reveal.
Crazy twist.
So good. So good. Because like if the show positions you to think like, oh, Helly and him must have been his wife.
They start talking about, maybe we have relationships on the outside and the context of the show, our brains are immediately thinking Helly and Mark.
Yeah, right. But Miss Casey, out of everyone, like they did such a good job of like not even like hinting at that. I feel like
because Mark's wife's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, literally dead.
The entire thing of the show is he's there because his wife's dead and he can't deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that reveal was huge. And then, like you said, Cobell sends him specific, like,
I'm going to send you to another wellness session.
Yeah, right. It's like another one. Like you started to say, because I think Milchick even says like another one.
Exactly.
Like,
he questioned it.
It's like why
are you pushing
Mark
this?
And why so many sessions?
Yeah.
Because he probably knows too. Like why?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, like Cobell, what are her intentions there? Like why would she want him to notice? Did she want him to notice? Why would she? What would that like?
And why was she disappointed when he didn't?
Why was she disappointed? Yeah.
Which I mean,
is she trying to prove something? But again, she's a company lady, so why would she even be towing this line?
Right. And I feel like I didn't pick up like her disappointment when I was actually watching the show. But yeah, that's like just another question. It's like why does it matter so much to her? And then like what would have happened in that moment if they remembered each other and like Mark had like a visceral reaction and Miss Casey had a visceral reaction to each other.
What would her question be? What would her response be?
Right. Right, exactly.
Based on the way the show ends, I would imagine she would have a negative response. But
right.
At the time, I was thinking she wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
In a good way, like not in a bad way. Like, yes, like I've proven something, like they're meant to be together type of thing.
Going back to the thing about the innies, like having sort of knowledge of the Owlies' lives, like she, in that session, she asked him to mold his feelings out of clay. He molds a tree, which on the outside you would see him like go visit a tree where his wife had died in a car crash.
Right.
Like I
literal tears.
So. Yeah, I don't think I picked up on that at the time. I read about it later.
I didn't either.
But if that is the case within the show, again, it speaks to the fact that like these innies are not completely like
there's like nuggets that are slipping through.
There are nuggets that are slipping through. Does Cobell want that? Like,
and even in that session, Mark and Miss Casey kind of have a little bit of a connection going. Like he cares about her feelings,
right?
Which he's not supposed to be doing.
When she gets in trouble because she was supposed to be watching Helly, and Mark kind of took Helly away. She gets sent to the break room. He's sort of very like apologetic, and like you don't pick up on it at the time, but yeah, they do have.
He cares for her in that moment, and she isn't. She seems receptive to him caring, but knows that she shouldn't be at the same time, which was an interesting thing to see because again, we know the truth about them.
Yeah.
And I think Miss Cobell watching it at the time also added another layer because you can see she's getting into it too because she sees that something's happening.
Yeah, and kind of going back to like Mark and Miss Casey's like burgeoning relationship, like when she said like the day when I was in MDR was like my favorite day. Like, oh gosh.
Because
so good.
In that scene, we find out she literally only shows up for wellness sessions.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they call her outie in just for the wellness sessions. Like 30 minutes at a time. She said, I'm only here for 30 minutes at a time.
I wonder if those characters all have some relationship to each other outside.
Maybe.
And then maybe they're all connected. So here's going back to the cloning thing. Like if that, so if that is the goal of this company, right? To like perfect cloning, say Casey actually died and they found a way to like clone her, but they want her to have the memories that Casey had before she died.
But like, why would they?
Is that what she's trying to get? She's trying to get Casey to remember things that this,
or maybe they don't want her to have them, and she's trying to catch her having them.
I would think they'd want it if they were trying to create clones. They would say, like, if you die, and they could basically recreate you.
Yeah,
but they would want you to have memories before then. Like, how do they do that?
Basically, you can live forever.
But like,
yes.
Why?
Oh, yes.
For what? Like why
these are weird?
Because science fiction and science fiction, because that's what people, that's what we as humans try to do, like solve that equation. But
I just thought of something that we talk about all the time, just like in reality work culture. It is a lot easier to like to have like employee retention than to like onboard a new employee.
So you just have the same employee forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
In perpetuity.
All right. I thought you were crazy, Mr. Sparrow, but you're onto something.
Well, so that just because like I was thinking like, what would Cobell want? Like it seems like she wants Mark to figure it out, but what if it's actually Miss Casey? Because look, Miss Casey leaves.
We're being misled a lot in this show.
Yeah, like is Miss Casey more of a central like character to this, and like does she have relationships with Irving? And we don't know how many even like people are down here in in Lumen.
We're being hid away from
so everything. Like is the idea to like are some of them other, again going back to the Westworld thing, like who is a robot, who is not a robot, like is she cloned? Is like I think this is maybe a stretch, but it's an idea.
And I think that's a good like something that you were saying reminded me a lot of Petey and like what he was saying about like there are people down there that never ever leave.
He did say that.
So, and I think Petey's such an interesting character because what we were talking about before, like he was the catalyst for all of this, or one of the very many catalysts for all of this. But like, he's so tragic because he, on the outside, had a daughter that very much loved him, that he very much loved. But I guess him and his wife got divorced. So the idea that he would opt for Severance is interesting to me, but then opt to like reverse it, it's also very interesting.
Was he divorced?
I think so.
And maybe that was.
I thought.
Yeah, I think he was divorced.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was. I was checking things off my list,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure if you had said he was divorced or not.
Yeah, I think yes, I did, and I was like, did I misspeak?
Okay.
But no, I think his his life is so interesting, and like we don't get to explore much of his personal life other than his connection to his daughter, which
Right.
I mean emotionally grounds the audience to his character, other than like him having like opening up this like secret world of how bad Lumen is
Right.
from like an any perspective. But yeah, I think I really liked PD's influence on the show, and like how it showed like how deeply ingrained the Severance chip is in your psyche.
Yeah.
And that he was like having these painful episodes of him like hallucinating, and like they were getting longer and longer until he eventually died.
Yeah.
But
which was also dramatic.
Very dramatic. And so it's like, it's interesting to me. It's like, I would love to know, like, and I hope they explore this in future seasons, and I guess they will, but his catalyst of like wanting that to be his severance to be reversed. Like was it his innie like giving him secret signals, or his Audi was like, I can't do this anymore?
Because he had the map on the inside, so his innie was questioning things at least. Questioning something to where he had the map, and then on the outside, he clearly made the decision to
reverse it.
Well, there was a doctor that performed the procedure, so maybe she had convinced him, but then why would she?
But why would she go to him?
Yeah.
And why did he say yes?
Do we get any answer as to who she is?
I think she was like
she was the person who put the chip
put the chip
she
in.
has some ties to Lumen as well.
Yeah.
So she knows some things, but we don't spend enough time with her to really get that, because she's basically there to explain to Mark what went down with PD. And then the security guard shows up. Do we know why the security guard showed up? Was he sent after Mark?
He was sent to follow Mark because I think they realized that like he knew more.
He was acting different.
He was acting weird. So I think he was just like following him.
Yeah.
Okay. So he shows up, the lady kills him, and that's the last
time. And then she asked Mark to meet her at the school that he taught at.
Yeah.
Yes. So which appears to be closed.
Yeah.
It didn't look active.
Like, it looked
very
like
I think maybe they're just under construction. Like one of the wings was
But still, like, is there more to that school? Like,
exactly.
What was he teaching at that school? Like, when was he teaching at that school?
Is he actually tied to? Yeah. Is he? And that's how did he meet his wife? What did she do? Like, we don't have all those answers. Like, I feel like it's one of those shows where the world will build upon itself as we go along, kind of like Attack on. I was kidding.
Always back to
like as you get some expansion. What did we not talk about?
The waffle party, and we haven't really talked much about like Helly. Yeah.
So let's talk about Helly. Or do we want to do that last?
Let's talk about what? What do you think?
I was going to say waffle party. Get that out the way. I think it's a quick one.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about waffle party. I liked the Easter eggs of the waffle party throughout the season, because Dylan was like, the waffle party's awesome. Yes, love it. But then like when we see it, it's fucking wild. Like, can you imagine? Like, I just constantly imagine like behind the scenes, like in this world, like if this were reality, like the dancer is about to go out like in front of this guy eating waffles, and they're like, okay guys, make this the performance of a lifetime in 5, 6, 7, 8. And then sultry, ritualistic, weirdo dance, masks, wild.
The waffles of it all is killing me. Like, I'm thinking about like, I'm gonna go do this crazy dance in front of this waffle eating person.
Yeah.
And like, is it different? Because it was just women dancing, right?
No. I know
there was a guy.
Yeah.
So like, is everybody getting the same waffle party experience? Is the waffle party experience tied? Like, is this particular experience tied to Dylan's personality?
Right.
Because he was clearly into it.
But he's eating in Kier's bed, and then like the replica of his house. He's in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So
don't understand
type
where that's
here,
coming
like
Yeah, I'm
that's also-
thinking. And then two, it's like, okay, so he's like, waffle party's awesome. What's so awesome about it? So like he's obviously eating these like frankly like yummy looking
They look
waffles.
delicious.
But it's like if he were to have stayed to the end of that dance, what would have happened? Would it have been like this like big old orgy?
I was about to say, like, where
But
was
even
this
still,
going?
what he has no.
Outside.
That is the most like sexual
Yeah.
thing he's ever seen.
Sure,
And he
yeah.
knows how it makes him feel.
In his life, like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Like,
And-
how does it make it? He's like again, he's like a kid going through like learn, discovering
Yeah.
that sort of content.
And like to be fair, like he's very much like on the outside and like I'm probably like fucking so many people.
Right, yeah.
And so like he's I think
And maybe that's
very
why,
much
yeah,
into like the sexual nature of life, I
Yeah.
think.
that he doesn't know much about, but he's like kind of
Right.
learned, like he's
Curious.
Yeah.
a preteen,
Yeah.
knowledge of it. I hadn't thought about that. You're right. That's why he thinks it's like, it's cool to him, like it because he doesn't know any
Yeah.
different.
But it's like scary and like just a curveball that the show
It
throws to us,
was.
which I was like, I loved, but I was very uncomfortable.
Because when they described it as the show's going on, you're thinking waffle party, like everybody's getting some waffles.
Mhm.
And then they're like, who are you going to choose for the waffle party? And it's like, is he like the person, like the person that they're honoring during this thing? It's like, no, he's going to a private thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This waffle situation. So
And wait, what was the present he got? It was like a little. It was a
it
little
was
like.
was it the cube with like all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
got the
really
picture
like
turned into
that.
like the crystal.
Yeah,
I really like that.
That was cute. That was,
Yeah.
cute. It was a nice touch.
it was.
I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was something specific to like the mission that he was going on. But it was more. But it was like a
I think it was
sentimental
just kind
thing.
of
I thought it was
shit.
something he needed, like a tool.
I
Yeah.
think it was just showing they were kind of like
Right.
bonded and like
Yeah. A united front.
and so Helly's
And so Helly.
and Helly is a big part of that, right? Like there's again, she's weirdly, I don't know, there's a lot of shows where the same character is simultaneously
The protagonist,
The protagonist.
and antagonist.
yeah.
I mean, Walter White, right? Like,
Sure, I guess you could Walter White it,
but
like,
that's another podcast.
but even he, you know what? Even he is one character who's kind of both. Like
Mhm.
she's two different people.
Yeah,
who are
right.
two
Yeah.
different things.
You just reminded
to
me.
the story. Like
There's a
it's-
Marvel character that has that story, Sentry and Void.
I don't know much.
So
about-
Sentry is a character who's kind of like he's like a cosmic character, and I want to say that people were thinking he might be coming to Marvel or to the MCU, but it hasn't happened yet. But basically, he's a hero character. Wears a cape, flies, golden,
It's like yellow
flowing,
with the blue, like blue.
got the flowing hair, and like he starts being tormented by this like dark figure who's like attacking things, but he can never catch him. And then it comes out that he is that character too. And like
Okay.
he like something happens in his brain and he becomes the Void.
Mm.
Who was like the complete like all black with like red eyes and stuff like that. And his abilities are even different. But like he's chasing after this character and he can't catch him. And I forget who tells him like it's actually like I followed you and it's you. Like you transform into this character. And
Interesting.
so and he's actually in the game. That's the only reason I know about him. Cause I was like, this looks like the same character build.
Hmm.
And I like looked it up. I was like, holy crap. And somebody told me the story. I was like, yeah, I need that to be a movie. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that's very interesting. I like that. I think it's a very cool concept to play with. Yeah, Helly or the Innie is trying to
Super
defeat
rebellious.
the world that Helly or Helly, what's the
Egan.
last name? Egan. Yeah, Helly Egan has created.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like this version of herself that she's put herself in this situation to have an Innie, but then that version of herself is
The
trying to
Annie
then,
is
like,
the one that's gonna bring it
just
all down.
bring it all down. And it's
Yeah.
like,
And it's so interesting to me. It's like Helena
sure.
is so. I mean, it's her family, and I get it from that perspective. But like, I would, for me, if someone that looked exactly like me that I'm like perceiving as my Annie is like, I want to quit. Like, I'm putting in multiple like requests to like terminate my employment. Like, I would eventually start listening, but she's like, absolutely not. Like, this person, I know better than this person because I am inherently better than this person.
So when she tries to commit suicide, first of all, I expected that to be a successful attempt because they're very dramatic about it.
Yeah.
And like you get the disclaimer before the episode, like scenes of self-harm, blah, blah, blah. So when she does it in the elevator, and her goal is to, I guess, die on the way up and have like her innie realize it, and like right before he dies or something, like I got you.
Yeah, right.
Type of thing. How did she end up coming back down? Did she just dangle and then it just came down automatically?
I don't know if,
because she does wake up, she does switch.
You're right.
The Audi wakes up struggling because initially they show her like she's relaxed and she's ready to go as she goes up, and then the shift happens and she's like, what the, like she grabs at her neck and starts kicking, and then she ends up coming back down, and that's where Mark finds her, right? Was it Mark that found her?
Yeah.
And then the security guard guy comes and helps as well. And when they said I don't remember, who did she wake up as? Because I think Milk Chick tells him like she woke up as either the innie or the outie, and I need y'all to make her.
I don't remember.
She's gonna be, so she woke up, of course, like immediately post like self-harm attempt, like as Helena, but then he was like, she's going to remember that moment as Helly. Gotcha. And so they needed to like support her.
Right.
And so
because then they bring her back down, and it's like she just like wakes up remembering. Oh, that's a good one. Right.
Okay.
So it's like realizing you almost died twice.
Yeah.
Helena realizes it, and then Helen realizes it later.
Right.
But like at the time, you're not even like, I don't know, you're not even that concerned about Helena in a weird way. Like you don't really think that she.
Like I didn't want Helly to die.
Yeah.
Definitely not. No, you're very for Helly, but like Helena, the Audi,
we don't know her.
Other than seeing her walk in a parking lot across from Mark one time, like you don't think about it. So you're like, I don't know. It's like I didn't even think she was important in the same way that Irving and Dylan.
She was just a person.
Yeah, just a person, and like. So yeah, so it's like I almost have to go back and watch and see like how they handle it, knowing what we know now, like how important she is.
And that's the thing. Like I was like, if somebody's going this far to stop, like I feel like why would you continue to force them to go through this as the company?
Yeah,
because she clearly is not like she's willing to take it that far. What are you gaining from keeping her down here?
Right.
Well, at the beginning of the show, they say something to her character, like what you're doing for this company is like a very big deal. So I remember thinking that like, they had chosen these people very specifically because the task they're doing is so like feelings based. I was like, only a small percentage of the population could do this job. So I was like, she must be so important they can't afford to have someone at like to lose her.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to make her feel. I thought it was just trying to make her feel
like just
very special, so that she doesn't rebel as much.
Yeah, and I think too, kind of going to like Milchick's taking all those pictures of her, and at the banquet fundraiser or whatever, like she's like smiling in a lot of them, even though like in the moment she very rarely smiles. Like she is.
Were they altered?
Yeah, I'm thinking because like. The point of her going down there is to show like how positive Severance is, but she had only a negative experience.
Exactly.
And so like they needed to alter the like I guess Helena's perception, even though like in some way, like in a lot of ways, Helen knew like Helly's like Helly's just like her experience and like how much she was struggling with it. But she was like, I do not care about this person who I view as a different person than myself.
Is Helena the only Albie we actually don't see? Like Helena? Like do we never see Helena say anything, do anything?
We do in that video, but like not in real time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think we saw more of her than Dylan's out here.
I guess you're right. But you see Dylan in that like moment. We know Dylan's a father. We know,
yeah.
But I'm like, Helena, we don't know
anything about her.
We don't know if she really wanted to do it. Is she actually super pro Severance? Is her family just super pro and
clearly
kind of like talked her into it?
So clearly it seemed like whatever reason her Audi was very much like all in on this. I think I initially assumed that all of them had some type of tragic reason for wanting to escape their lives. But after we get introduced to Dylan's situation, I started to think maybe not. And then when Milk Chick's trying to break things up with when Dylan's like has the switch and he's holding it and he's letting all the innies explore the outer world for a minute. Milk Chick is like, I can tell you more about your life. You have 3 kids actually, and I can tell you about them and da. It's like, okay, is he offering that legitimately? Like, is he now suddenly able to share these things? Like, is there a protocol for him to share more stuff about their outside lives if he thinks it'll calm them down? Like that asks I have big questions about that, and like if it makes me wonder once we get the Helly reveal that she's so important to this company, is it dangerous or helpful for her Innie to know? Which I mean, in the immediacy of it, her Innie doesn't give a damn.
You're right.
And she goes on stage and tries to burn things down. Says, it's terrible. I hate every day. I hate every moment. I hate everything.
Right. Yeah. And again, that was another great review.
I didn't think she was going to get to do it.
Yeah. The fact that she got to do it.
Right.
Like, yeah, was cool. But just finding out who she was, like, and like seeing her in that moment was like a huge, like, the whole, everything shifted for that moment. You're like, oh, everything was going like, oh, they're going to do something. And then you're like, oh, never mind. Like this is like its own separate issue she's got to deal with.
The finale, so much tension.
My God. Yeah.
Who's going to get to do this? Who's going to get to do that? Are they going to get to do it? Are they going to figure it out? Are they going to be able to navigate this world? Like, I remember with Irv's character, he has to go drive somewhere. And I'm like, does he know how to drive? Like, is he going to?
And he kind of doesn't.
Yeah, like, it's like very awkward. Like, he doesn't know which car is his.
Right.
That's also true.
He has to guess which car is his. So it became very interesting from that perspective. What's the other thing I wanted to ask there? Okay, so at the end, we get Mark realizing that Miss Casey is actually his wife in real life. And does he find out she's supposed to be dead also?
Yeah, because
because he screams she's alive.
Yeah.
Because I believe he's told, about his wife passing while he's there as well. So then he sees the picture of them at the very end, because for a while it was like, oh, let me show you this picture, and then the brother-in-law gets called away.
Right.
He doesn't get to show. He's like, oh, is he not going to find out? But then at the very end, after Cobell has realized that the innies are outside, she leaves. She puts the baby in a room. He goes in the room, finds the baby, and he looks at some pictures that are there, and he sees them together. And then he has to try to find somebody, and he like runs to his sister and says she's alive, like right before the switch goes. Helly gets to put down the company and say that Severance is trash. And Irv, his Audi has been researching things. You brought up earlier, we don't know how many people are down there. He has like an entire like sheet of names of people that are severed.
Yeah, right. Right.
His Audi has identified Bert for some reason and circled his address.
Like drawn a map
right.
of where these people live as well.
Exactly.
Which might go speak to what you were saying about him being Milchick, the original Milchick. Like he had more knowledge of like
he knew a lot.
Yeah.
His Audi knows a ton.
Yeah.
So, and that, like I said, brings me back to the whole Milchick idea. But then it's like, okay, this just came to me. do we think he's potentially agreed to do the severed thing to get more information or try to get more information somehow?
Probably.
So he's like researching, but like
right.
But how would he think he's going to get more information?
I have no idea. Maybe he's got a theory or something that he's trying to work out.
Or
I don't know. And then like, how's he? Even if he was, like, how is he getting the information that he had? Because he had information that his Audi shouldn't have known.
Right.
Like he shouldn't even know that Bert existed, let alone know that he was important to him.
Unless he, like we said, unless he was the milk chick, and maybe that's why he's interested in trying to get back in there. Did she stand up this time?
She did.
Yep, she's all the way up.
That was a nice little transition to why is our baby crying? I think Irving's character is going to be one of the more interesting to learn about his Audi, because like he's much more rooted into everything, I think, than they've like shown.
Let us know at this point.
Yes,
I think so too.
Maybe they all are. Maybe all of them has some really like intrigue. Like maybe they all really are very specifically chosen for some particular reason, or they're all there for some like reason bigger than just they wanted to forget about their like daily lives. But I will be very interested in like in season 2 to learn like why he knows what he knows, why he's dreaming about things, why he's painting things from the inside. Like his character opens a lot of,
and they do it so subtly, I think. Like even with him having the sheet, like you have to think about that. Like you're not thinking about it, you're not trying to you're not piecing things together. We just know that he knows more than we realize. He knows more than anybody else.
I remember thinking it was weird at the time, but it was just they don't answer it. They don't even like.
Nobody says anything about it.
Yeah,
and you're more concerned about whether or not he's going to get the bird. If you just focus on whether or not he's going to get the bird, you're not thinking about why did he know that bird exists.
Exactly. And you're again there's the paintings. You have this heli scene going on. You have the mark. Your focus is you have all these other questions. So any one single question can't take precedence because there's so many things you want to know about. It just that's what grips you throughout the whole show. Is like there's always so many things that you're like you don't know, and you're kind of waiting to find out, but they just kind of keep bringing on some questions. Like, but that's the thing for a show that does leave you with so many unanswered questions. I thought it did a pretty good job of like the ones it did answer. It was like pretty satisfying.
Yeah, like it gave you enough answers.
Yeah,
and even the answers may create more questions, but you get the answers that you thought you needed at the time.
Right.
Is the other one up too?
No. This is good for the pod.
Yeah. This is dealing with infants, people.
Just one of our babies is awake. The other sleeping sound.
The last thing I wanted to hit was the pregnancy situation and that angle. When they're at the pregnancy lodge and the sister meets the lady and they have the conversation and she tells her, I'm naming my baby, William? I think it was William.
Okay.
And then she sees her later, baby's born, and tries to strike up a conversation with her, like, remember me from the pregnancy lodges, and the lady doesn't remember her because she's going through the severance procedure. When we see her in the last episode with Helena, and I wanted to call the lady Natalie, the secretary.
I think her name is Natalie.
Was it Natalie?
Yeah.
So we see them together and she says, I just had my third and didn't have to experience something. And so my question is, do we think she was severed during the entire pregnancy or just for the birth?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And then how does that even work?
I mean,
because she didn't go down the floor. So how is her brain being turned on and off?
Yeah, right. They don't. But again, big question. How is what is the trigger that sets the severance? Like, turns it on or off? Like, my guess would just be that it's like cut off for the birth, so she doesn't have to remember that. Like, that hour, 2 hours, 24 hours, whatever it is. Like, she's just got a little bit of time.
But just imagine like the we'll say any, just because that's our term. The any perspective of that is you wake up pregnant and you have to have a baby.
Yeah, and then you
then you don't exist anymore.
Your only existence might be giving birth to children.
Exactly.
Like you might only know pain, but then it brings up that philosophical question: like, is that a person you're subjecting that to, or is that just you and you don't remember? Like, right. Is it right?
Is
it
wrong? Is it fair of you to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think to me that whole arc or that plot is really just more around like the ethics of
right,
of Severance, and like whether or not you agree that like that's okay to do to yourself, or is it not okay because you're in theory doing it to a person, just like subjecting them to
that
this,
person
like,
that's underneath hasn't made that choice, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about the pregnancy and
right,
how the sister meets the lady who is also giving birth, and they have a conversation, and then later she sees her after the baby's been born, and the woman doesn't remember her. We find out in the last episode that she underwent severance just for the birth, potentially either just for the birth or for the pregnancy. We don't know. I would say the safe assumption is just for the birth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And I get that as someone who went through childbirth. you would want to forget that, but I think too, it's like, again, like you guys were saying, like the crux of this argument is like you're denying the personhood of someone else, right. And like of your subconscious, because like the woman who was giving birth, like she said that she wanted to name her baby William,
right.
But then on the outside, once she was unsevered, she was like, "That's not my baby's name."
What? Baby's not named William.
Yeah. So it's like that is, and like I think that is just like so deeply sad. Like this woman who wakes up as pregnant, about to give birth, apparently wanting this baby and wanting to like name him something, and like kind of like
she has her own experience.
She has her own experience
as a mother.
But then as soon as she like goes through the trauma of childbirth, like it's just gone.
She's gone.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. It's like that's something I really like about the show. It's like a person doesn't stop being a person just because they forget that they're a person. Like essentially the person's just asleep.
Yeah.
For like both times. And so I'm like, okay, so when you're like physically actually asleep, like, are you like, does that asleep version of you not matter as much,
That's a good way to think about it. It's I will say like
reference Doctor Strange again.
Huh?
Almost reference Doctor Strange again.
Listen, I'm sorry I haven't watched Spider-Man to then have watched Doctor Strange.
But there's a this isn't a spoiler. This is more of a idea that it explains more about the multiverse.
Tread carefully. Don't.
Is this a spoiler? I don't think it's a spoiler.
It's
something that they say that adds more context to what the multiverse can be. Is that when you dream, you're actually experiencing one of your other lives in the multiverse. So that idea kind of comes to what you're saying is like, does that person count? Depends on how you interpret your dreams, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So how do we feel? Because this is the senator's wife. Or is he a senator? I don't even know what
I think he is a senator, yeah.
State senator.
But he's like very pro severance. Mm-hmm. So pro severance that he's willing to let his wife go through it.
Mm-hmm.
She seemed very happy with what went down. But again, like you said, it gives us the question of, you put yourself through this, like this, the other you, based on our experience with what innies go through, woke up pregnant, probably.
Yeah.
And went through a childbirth. And then that was that.
Yeah.
And so like, if you go under severance again, your other you is going to wake up remembering like literally their last moment was giving birth. And like, are you going to do this again when you get pregnant? So like every time your other you wakes up just pregnant and giving birth, like what do we expect that effect? What do we expect the effect on that person's mind to be at that point?
Right. And it's not going to be positive.
It seems unhealthy.
Right. And it's like
dangerous.
And it's like, of course, someone would be pro this procedure if they don't have to remember trauma.
Right.
Like, like that makes sense. And like that on the highest of levels, it's like, oh, I can like not experience something that I don't want to experience. Perfect. Yeah. But it's like someone has to experience, you're just passing the buck to someone that's going to have to go through that. And like somewhere in your subconscious, you're going to remember that. And it's like, even though like the science, according to the show, is like so flawless that like consciously you'll never bring it up. Are you getting tired? It'll never come up in like your consciousness memories, but like when you're dreaming or whatever, it's like, I don't know. But then like even taking your actual consciousness out of it, it's like, again, your subconscious, like your innie is a person that deserves the dignity of like being cared for and not having to just experience a trauma that they don't have the context of.
Yeah. And I think the fun of the show is you could technically have two different shows. Well, I guess three. We get the third version. The first version is we only know them on the outside.
Yeah.
And we know that they're doing this job severance thing, but we never see the innies. You can have a show where you only see the innies and they're trying to figure out what's going on in the outside.
Yeah.
But because we get both, that's what I think kind of adds the fun and the mystery to it. Like a deeper, you care for both versions of this person, but is it two different versions of one person, or is it one person that's just been severed?
And I don't even know where I stand on that argument.
I don't know
like,
where
I genuinely don't like,
because like we said, we've already discussed the idea of bleeding into each other.
Like, because with Helly, it feels like two different people. There's Helena and there's Helly.
Yeah.
But with Mark, it's hard to say. Like, he feels like one singular person who is just kind of experiencing. So I don't know where I stand like within the idea of severance. Like, I don't know. I truly don't have an opinion, which I think is I think that's super unique for the show to have like pose this sort of philosophical question. There's really not.
There's more.
I don't think there is one right answer. Like, I think you could argue either point and have like a fair argument, like which I think is always the best kind of debate.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the pregnancy scenario gives you it doesn't just have to be a work home situation. Like there are other circumstances where maybe you would approve of it in life.
Yeah, surgery.
Yeah.
Like,
well, with surgery, you just go under anesthesia anyway.
Going to the DMV.
Okay.
But is anesthesia different?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is anesthesia different? Like, you don't remember.
You were still, or like
you go in under the knife. You go in fine. You wake up. Surgery's done. Like, you don't remember anything that happened.
Yeah, but that version of you got cut open, and like, you know what I mean. Like, you might not be cognizant of it, or like, or what if you are? What if you are, but you don't remember? Like, what if when we go under anesthesia, we are awake, but like we don't remember it?
Yeah,
is that wrong?
We're just like paralyzed. We can't scream, but we're feeling everything.
But like,
that happens in real life.
Yeah,
and that's so dramatic.
Like, if we don't remember it,
right?
Does that version of ourselves deserve that right? And like, from that context, you're like, no, definitely not. But then if that version of you is around so much that they start to have their own memories and their own like lives and interests and friends, and like, do they start to kind of become sort of like self-aware? They become self-aware and they become more sentient of like, well, I'm sentient, sorry, word, but like, I don't know.
More cognizant.
I'm gonna do some math real quick.
Anyways,
let's do it.
We know that what's his name? Irv has been there for 3 years.
3? It's only 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna do 365 divided by 54, 52 weeks.
52. But assuming he's not
52.
He's probably there 5 days a week, right? They work weekends. So we do 5 times.
So five times 52, right?
Something like that.
We don't know if they have holidays or not.
Yeah.
So we'll say 260 days a year times 8 hours, 2,080 hours a year.
And then if you're thinking for how many hours?
3 divided by 24, 260 days of life for this guy.
So more than half your life is spent there. That version of you is alive more than the unsevered version of you. Severed, right? Like so are they actually the main you, and the version of you on the outside is the one who's severed?
Ooh.
I mean, that doesn't quite make sense because
no, in 3 years he's lived 260 total days.
I see what you're saying. I thought you meant
like every three work days.
It's essentially a third of your life is spent there.
Yeah.
Okay, but then a third of your life
is
spent
how
sleeping.
much time are you sleeping? So,
yeah. So
it's equal almost.
Equal. You're equal.
If you're getting 8 hours of sleep a night.
Theoretically. And what if you work 9 hours a day? You know?
They do have like a staggered start and
yeah. So it's like
they don't have a lunch break. Have we seen a lunch break?
We have not. I feel like
I don't know if they but they're not working a lot. They're like roaming the halls.
I was about to say like that's the one part of it that I question. Like they're barely at these desks.
And one of the questions that I wrote down was like, what would have happened if the quota wasn't met?
Yeah, they don't
because they were watching
talk about the work at all.
Yeah, like they were down to the wire. Like Kelly was like being shown to like I guess to lead out those numbers.
Yeah, is all that work made up?
That's the other. Yeah, that's the other part of it. Is are they doing real work?
Exactly.
And then what is the work? If
is it just a psychological experiment to like for whatever these people are, like whatever it ends up being like? Is it even work, or is it all just a big psychological experiment, or something you're trying to train? It's lots of questions. Season 2 is gonna be very interesting.
Is O&D severed? Did they confirm that?
I mean, Bert has like a husband on the outside.
But maybe he's just a cheater.
Maybe he's playing the game on the inside.
Bert is not a cheat one. Don't you dare mistake Bert like that. Bert was a nice guy. Bert was a great
Christopher Walken could cheat.
I will say, because it's Christopher Walken, I was like, his character just got like, I was like wondering, I was like, does he know a little bit more? Like Christopher Walken just needs, like, he seems like a guy that's just always like in the know. His characters are always like, you know, like kind of like, they're not just the sort of like, you know, worker who doesn't know what's going on. So I did think he would know more than he did. But, no, I think I got the sense that Wendy was also severed.
And curious.
Yeah.
But I feel like they have more insight into
they got to know something, because they knew not to tell them that they had, because they thought the massacre situation. Okay.
Yeah.
They knew not to tell them they had more numbers than them. Okay. We'll leave that part alone. But again, there's another question that we completely forgot about till now. Is there anything else we missed? I'm trying to think if I had any other.
I got nothing.
I don't think so, but I do have a question I wanted to like pose to you.
What do you got?
How much money would it take for you to sever?
I was going to ask that earlier, so I'm glad it's coming up at the end. So I got to think about the whole idea of I'm doing some work somewhere. I don't know what the work is. I just walk to this building, come out of the building, and I have this much money to do whatever I want with it. I feel like if I felt pain after I came out, I would quit. I would need to know I can quit.
Yeah,
I need to know that up front. Like if I come out and my booty hole feels bad, I need to be able to quit. I don't know what y'all did down there, but I need that.
It was just like an enchilada party.
Yeah.
It was just a bad burrito. I don't know what y'all did with that burrito. You just ate it and you had explosive diarrhea.
They like before you leave, they squirt some like Taco Bell sauce on your shirt just to like enhance the story, the plausibility of the story.
Oh man, that was loud as hell. For sure. All right.
I think as long as I knew that like my kids were taken care of, and I had someone on the outside who could take care of the things I couldn't take care of if I was in there, $500,000 a year.
Ooh.
$500,000, because that's enough where like I'd be very comfortable. And again, to Mike's point, I have to know that it couldn't be one of those things where it's like, no, you're like it's sort of dystopian and you're like you're forced to work there. If it's like it's a job that you can literally quit if you start to get some like you get shaky about things. I think 500,000 a year.
See, I was gonna go up to $1 million, but I felt like that was just a number.
Mm-hmm.
I think 500 might be.
Right, feels like
might be a number.
Because even 250, I was like, okay, I mean that's
a
lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it's not like 500. I can be very, very, very comfortable. And again, it comes down to those few caveats. Like I need to know that even though I don't know what's going on the outside. There's like you or someone that's like taking care of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that
so like both of y'all couldn't be separate in your
exactly. And it's enough to where I know like my spouse wouldn't have, like Larhonda wouldn't have to work.
Okay.
You know, like
okay.
It's
like she does her thing, and you'll sacrifice and be separate for a year. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with that.
That's a good answer. What if I was like $45,000 a year?
What was your answer?
I don't know if I even have like a concrete one. I think I was definitely in the six figures because like you're giving up so much of your life. And like we just as like the American work culture, like we just have no time to ourselves. And so like the time that we have during our waking hours, like a lot of it's taken up, like just completely detached from you. Like, and you get home at like 5:30, have to like cook dinner and then go to bed, you know, like that's just like, that's so like the implication of like how that would affect like how short your like actual day is like, wild to me.
Are you physically tired afterwards? If you don't remember work, are you still physically tired when you leave? Like mentally tired, physically.
I feel like that's addressing the show, but I can't remember what the answer was. I think they said sometimes I'll feel a little. Oh, he does say like sometimes I'll feel a little tired after work, but that just means I put in a hard day's work.
Yeah, but so that's interesting because sometimes when you have kids, going to work is sort of your little break. Like it's sort of like you get to kind of like, and like at work sometimes you get to take a lunch at work. You get to do things during the workday that aren't specifically work related. So it's like, if you literally are saying, I'm giving up 8 hours of my entire day, all I know is
work is happening,
driving to a building, then driving home. I leave kids, I come home, you actually don't. It's not as like nice as you.
And that might be Dylan's motivation. Because I said initially, I thought that all of them had some type of tragedy. Because we know Herb lives alone. Like, does he have a tragic family situation? We know Petey's going through a divorce. Maybe that's probably what was his impetus. We know why Ellie's there at the end. She's trying to show how great it is. And we know that Mark's there because his wife died. But maybe Dylan's motivation is, I need just a break from these kids type of thing.
But like
he's not getting a break.
Yeah, it's like, but he wouldn't be getting a break. His consciousness would be like, I'm around my kids all the time.
I drive away from them and I drive.
Right. Maybe that's it. Like maybe he couldn't focus at work because he just wanted to be with his kids or something.
Yeah. Like that. No, and that makes more sense. Like he doesn't want to experience it that way.
He doesn't want. Yeah.
I don't know.
And we don't know his wife or whatever situation.
500,000 doesn't feel like enough now.
I was going to say, I'm looking at three factors. One, losing 8 hours, having to go through this surgery. Like, do we know it's 100% not going to be bad? Like, I might need a bump. I might need $1 million.
Yeah. Maybe it's not
How did that happen?
But it's like, no, they're definitely not getting paid that much for just being at a desk job.
And they haven't told us how much they're getting paid. And I think that's intentional.
And then, it's like they're in a like weirdo, like townhouses.
Right. They're not living lavishly on the outside. Yeah. Like it's a regular job. And the fact that everybody's talking down on it, you would think the money would come up more.
Yeah. Right.
Like they're not paying you enough for this type of thing. Like that hasn't come up yet.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, didn't they say kind of like allude to that about like weirdo dinner, not dinner party?
I can't remember how much it came up.
I think
does he say like, is the money worth it type of thing?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that dinner party scene. Like
the guy was weird.
Yeah. If anyone was like, we're going to have this dinner party, but we're not going to be serving dinner, I'd be like, A, I'm not going. And then B, if I were to somehow have gone, I would literally be like, never talk to me again. This is the end of this relationship, brother, sister.
I'm gonna ask this because I can't remember. Was there not dinner being served so they could say it wasn't dinner party or wasn't a dinner party? Like, is that his logic behind not serving the meal?
So I can't remember, but they called it a dinner party.
Okay, but there was no dinner.
Yeah, because I think just Rickon's like a weirdo guy, and
how
so
is she married to this man? Like,
yeah, honestly, like that was the thing, like the prevailing question. Anytime they were both on screen, I'm like, what does she see in him?
Because it's not money.
Yeah,
He's not really funny. He's more weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but I think.
But he seemed like a nice guy. He had like a little bit.
He seemed fine.
Like when he was talking to Mark.
Right. He was very real, I guess.
Yeah.
Like raw. Like he didn't hide his feelings. Okay, I think we
finally exhausted every single
I don't think I have any other notes.
No, like on my 4 pages of notes. I think I crossed out every single thing.
Josh, Larhonda, I've kept y'all up till midnight. Cinderella slippers about to turn back into whatever it turned. I don't remember what the slippers turned into.
Beyonce's new album is going to come out in 5 minutes.
You know what?
I'll be asleep before then.
You got it better than me. I want to thank y'all for this. This has been fun. Y'all brought out a lot of questions and ideas that I would not have gotten to on my own, which is the fun part about having these conversations. Hopefully something comes up and we're able to do this again.
I would love that.
Yeah, we'd love to hear any questions or theories you get from people about if they listen to this.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
And thank you for having us. It was such a fun time getting to talk about a great show and getting to spend time with you.
Thank you. Thank y'all again. I apologize for keeping y'all up till midnight. The babies, we're gonna say a quick prayer real quick. In Kier's name, the baby sleep through the rest of the night. Everybody gets a great night's rest, goes to work in the morning. Praise be to Kier. All right.
Praise be.
Praise be.
And with that, we're gonna close it out. Until next time. Peace.